And she's live, as far as I can tell. Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff on my list that I want to talk about. I want to practice going through this. Oh, so sorry, my microphone was pointed far away. Hello, now you should be able to hear me. Okay, first I'm gonna look at the comments really fast because I see people are here. Are talking about families and domestic things. Okay, so to zoom through the list, I want to practice going through this stuff concisely and quickly, because I'm sick of listening to myself talk. Okay, first I want to talk about why the episode took me so long. So this was an interesting. So today we were talking about the most recent video was the um oh, great job being concise, Lindsay. Yeah, you've accomplished nothing. Congrats. The begin again. Um, going back to the start with a weird kind of side dish topic about being a con artist, being a flim flam artist, and the significance of like do we really want to follow the rules of a game that is not built to serve us? What agenda is it serving? If it's the game we are playing is serving an agenda that does not serve us, then are we really that bad a person for not playing along? So this was an interesting video for me because those of you who have been following me for a while, which I'm pretty sure is most of you, all of you, um, I got a lot of familiar names, not familiar faces, unfortunately, but familiar whatever you are's names. The blah 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 blah. Damn it, there is a spider over there. I swear to God, these motherfuckers should pay rent. Um, so I've talked to you guys before about how I don't really write scripts. Normally, the concept for the video has a certain trajectory, has a certain vibe, and I pretty much already know what I want to do. So, and one idea sort of leads into the next idea, and especially in the TV show days, I could just really just sit down and just start talking, and the video would kind of tie itself together, and then once I said everything that I had to say on the topic, if I needed to bridge concepts with one line here or one line there, it would kind of work itself out. And unfortunately, this video, my ideas just didn't really work that way. They were, instead of having like this idea leading to this idea leading to this idea, it was more like two seemingly non sequitur ideas going back to the start, the flim flam artist kind of thing, the Wizard of Oz uh cheating at the game, being evil kind of ideas. And those two ideas didn't seem to be very related at all. However, they both branched off into ideas that were related to each other. And it was kind of bizarre and a coincidence that the idea of rigging the game and going back to the start both came up in the scene from the TV show, and coincidentally were two major concepts in The Wizard of Oz and two major concepts in The Greatest Showman. And I was like, why are these two ideas that don't seem connected at all apparently are very connected? And then hopefully I tied that all together by the time we got to the end of the video when I brought up that at the end of the day, we're talking about losing respect for the game that we were respecting, losing respect for the rules that we were trained to respect. That's the connection between those two things. I just think it's crazy that those three things. Oh, thank you for the gift. I don't really know what that means. Is that money? What is that? Sent Sunday. That's cute. I don't understand. Like, there's a lot of like little doohickeys in streams, but I love it. But I guess it's like a Jules thing. I guess the kids are into these things these days. I guess that's different from like a super chat. I don't know. I love it. It's a cute little icon, and I'm into it. I feel like it should be like a little icon that's on the screen. I don't know. I'll look into this. So, continuing, continuing the journey of what made it take so long. So because of that, you saw at the end of the video, I kind of had this, oh my god, this is gonna take so long to edit, because I knew what I had just recorded was a fucking mess. And it normally isn't. And I was like, do I need more meds? Like, that was so non sequitur. So I ended up having to do a lot of pickups to tie concepts together. And this is the first time, see if you notice, this is the first time I've ever done video pickups where the shots of me sitting there in front of the camera, like I am right here, were shot on 2 different days. Not only shot on 2 different days, but I took a shower between the two. So my hair was in a totally, like, my hair was cleaner in one of the days. And you kind of tell which are the newer shots based on, it's anything where I felt like I needed to tie things together. Like, so the kind of like ending lines, it was anything where in the edit I was like, this jumps out of nowhere. But this is the first time I've ever really like rearranged the order of things. And my buddy Kiwi watched it and he said this is like the best video I've ever done. So apparently it was all worth it. But I can't even say that like I learned a lesson, because I did everything the way, like, normally I can just sit down and do it. And this was just, the concept was so disconnected. Though I did, possibly related, possibly not related, get an increase on my ADHD meds, in the middle of this process. So that was like one of the things, the non sequitur thing. And then the other thing that made it take a long time was, talking about the idea of going back to the start and purging and letting go of things that no longer serve you. It was like impossible to not talk about Dead Money, to not talk about the Dead Money DLC and, begin again and let go. But I mean, how many times are those phrases repeated? And the idea of, the Fallout fans that are super attached to the old games. Obviously, this is a topic I've talked about a lot, and not only with you guys but also with my friends. Just the absurdity of the attachment and how much it contrasts the messaging of the very games that these people claim to be so in love with. But something I've noticed a lot with not just Fallout fandom but fandom in general is really this isolation, the separation of like, I'm a fan of this thing in the fantasy world of this thing and everything, and not connecting it to the real world, which I feel like I'm sort of the antithesis of. One of the things I love about my fandoms and the properties that I love is because of how well they connect to things in the real world. But these people like really don't apply. Like, there's like this wall between like they want everything to be internally consistent and to serve like what makes a cool, good sci-fi or fantasy story. And they are not, and they're totally judging that inside its own world, and they want it to be consistent inside its own world because they want an escape. They don't want to think about the real world. Like, the reason they love these properties is to leave the real world, and I just think that's, I think life is too good to be ignored like that, or life can be so good that it would be a shame to live that way. But not to get off topic. So when I realized how much of it, and this is the thing, the part that I was excited to tell you guys, is obviously, especially in the most recent 2 videos, I've talked a lot about how I plant saves and how I play to make the videos, and how exploring the games and talking about the games and overanalyzing the game is like my whole deal. It's like I love to play, but I love to explore. I love to study, I love to analyze. And so I have this very meticulously organized system of saves. So, normally, like, for some games I save by quest. For Fallout New Vegas, I save by location and character. And in the process of editing this video, when I was looking for saves so I could pull up the clips that I wanted to record for the Dead Money montage, I realized I hadn't ever made save folders for Christine, Dog God, and or Dean Domino, which, I'll come back to that. So And it's one of those things where, because I'm always working on whatever the current project is, whether it's the current Lindsay's Fallout video or a client work or an Atlas Omnicorp thing, I kind of rely on doing some work as I need it, you know? And luckily I had all my dead money saves together, at least. So I didn't have to go through a whole bunch of useless saves. I at least had dead money all together. And I realized, if I don't organize these saves now, when am I going to do it? And what if another topic comes up? Like these kind of moments in this video is exactly why I plant and organize saves the way that I do, is so that when I'm in my 2-day run of editing and shooting a video, I can just reach in and pull the moments that I need to record them and go. And so this is why I wanted to say I come back to Dean Domino thing, because as you may have noticed, I didn't need Dean Domino. Like, I could have pulled Dean Domino lines for that montage, but they didn't suit me as well as the Christine and God moments did. So I didn't need it. I was under a time crunch. The video was already taking too long. So I had to resist. Do you know how hard it is to leave like 2 out of 3 organized and just leave that one character alone? The temptation to go, oh, I should get Dean Domino footage while I'm here. When I am recording footage from a Fallout game for a video, the rabbit holes I can go into. Oh, while I'm here, I'll just get this shot. Oh, while I'm here, I'll get this shot. I already got so many shots of Christine and God that I did not need, as it is. I got like 20 shots of God, and I only used that one side scroll. And that was it. And that was all I needed, and I could have just moved on. But while I'm here, I may as well get all these. So if he ever comes up in a video, which I think he will, that character is I feel like touches on a lot of kind of topics that I'm into talking about. So I had to leave Dean Domino on the table. So I have these weird. I did put his saves aside in a Dean Domino folder because I'm not crazy. I had to at least do that, but resisting getting footage of him was tough. And so, and as you guys know, especially if you've watched my Fallout 76 locations videos, recording in-game footage is like my favorite fucking thing. I want to be recording footage right now. But I'm talking to you guys, so be honored. And the reason I want to be recording footage right now is because I have an idea of what I want to do for the next video. Basically, on the next episode of Lindsay's Fallout, I have it down to 2 topics. One of them is another TV show thing, like what we've been doing. A moment, a short exchange, a line that I'm going to overanalyze and discuss into powder, like I have for the past 2 videos. And or a video game topic that requires that I record a lot of footage. So basically it's a race. If I record all the footage that I want in time, then I'll do the video game topic. And if I don't, then I will do the TV show thing again. Even though it's funny, because I was just, today I went to a library grand opening with a buddy of mine who's always on top of, like, new cool community things here in Portland. It's a huge library that they just opened. And it has a really cool AV room with a recording studio and stuff. And I was actually talking to them a little bit about how I might be able to utilize the space for some Lindsay's Fallout related things. But while I was hanging out with my friend, he was kind of complimenting me on the variety on this channel and how I don't do the same kind of video over and over again. How, you know, sometimes I'll do like these episode explorations, sometimes these topics, sometimes these moments, these quotes, sometimes I'll do a video game thing, and how even though I'm always talking about Fallout, there's always kind of a new kind of Fallout thing to talk about. And then I was thinking, I guess, yes, that's true historically for this channel, but I am definitely on a vibe right now with these, exploring this one line and the significance of this one particular moment. So that covers how much I love recording footage. That covers how I already know what I want to do next week, why the episode took so long, and the story of why I made the short. This is why I liked earlier as I came in, I saw that Doc, Doc Widener. I don't think I've ever said that aloud before. I see you all the time. Hello, Doc. Said, if I had more free time, I would chart the responses to your video versus the short. I feel the short was the meat shield for the negative comments, though I have not been back to the video today. Yeah, so let me tell you about how that happened. So I think I've talked about this on stream before. That's something that I've wanted to do for a while, is make shorts or reels out of the long form video as like commercials. Especially because I think it's cool that YouTube has this kind of way to connect a short to a long form video. So I could put out a clip of the short and then hit, you know, and then you can like hit a link at the bottom to watch the full length. That is cool. And I've wanted to utilize that ever since I knew you could do that. Because it was kind of a pain, the idea of like putting a short and then people having no idea that it's a short from a longer video, and how would they know? And then I'm like, do I put like a thumbnail at the end of the video? But the fact that they let you link directly to it, I think is really rad. However, I hate reels and shorts. Not as, quote unquote, if I could even call them art forms. I love short form content. I love the challenge of making an idea super concise. Even though there's always going to be people that are going to think this is a myopic view of a large topic. It's like, well, you know, there comes a point in time where the audience just has to grasp that they're watching a 2-minute or 1-minute video, and what can you possibly expect? But the egomaniacal nightmare that some people are with, like, if you don't deal with my exact precise personal trauma in your content, then you are narrow-minded and problematic. Just good luck with that standard, I swear to God. So, I love the short, the challenge of making, it's like a haiku. It's like there's a poetry to it. Like, I think some of my favorite quotes are something where I feel like a huge concept is communicated in very few words. In fact, I think a while back, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was involved in this project called Tiny Stories, and that was like the whole shtick, was telling like a complete, full emotional story in like 2 sentences, 3 sentences. It was really cool. So no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is the nervous system onslaught. I think, I'm just gonna throw this out there, that in the future, when we're analyzing this time in media history, that these short form videos are going to be like the new sitting that became the new smoking. I think they are so unhealthy. TikTok, it's not an exaggeration to say that it drove me insane, honestly. There's so many things about what's healthy for the human nervous system that this particular media form like violates. It's, you know, I was talking about comments, and how comments are like dick pics in a video recently, because by the time you register, this was in the trolls video that I talked about this, by the time you register what you're looking at, the damage is already done. Bam. That is the same problem with this particular format. By the time you, basically, either your video gets ignored and swiped away, or you have impacted somebody's nervous system dramatically without their consent, without their informed consent. Those are your 2 options. It is nervous system assault, you know? And people think I'm in control. But how can you possibly be in control when you don't know what you're watching until you're watching it? Like, with YouTube videos, you see a title, you see a thumb, and you choose to opt in. With YouTube, with Instagram and TikTok, you are just boom, 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 boom. You know, it's so unnatural for the human brain to consume media like that. You're not supposed to quick flip through disjointed, dopamine-stimulating ideas that quickly. It's not good for you. And it's really not good for, there's no, like for the creator, one of the first things I noticed when I was doing TikTok was how I didn't get the same audience every time. So I wasn't building any sort of relationship. Like what I have with y'all, with Feral Cools, you guys even have a name. It's like there are new people that come in and out, but there is a family. Like there's like a few of you, there's like 10 of you that I see all the time whose names I recognize, and I'm starting to sort of it's starting to sort of stick things about your lives. And y'all are continuing to watch the content history that I'm making. There's a parasocial relationship. It's not like a meaningful, friendship. We're not going to each other's Christmas parties or anything, but there is an ongoing creator audience relationship. And my ideas are so abstract and so esoteric and so and also I'm constantly growing. We're going to come back to that later too. That I wanted an audience that was growing with me. I didn't want to have to repeat old things. I want to be able to refer to previous videos, which I do all the time, and I want to build on these ideas. And there's an intellectual journey that I'm going on that I'm like taking y'all along for the ride on. And that is not how TikTok works. Your video is thrown around all willy-nilly. It's not valued. The people who are receiving it are processing it at the most superficial level of their brains. Even people who would totally vibe with and get what I'm saying won't even have that part of their brain switched on when they see me roll through. And but I was making so many TikToks that I didn't really, that sometimes I would stop and make a long form YouTube video, but my audience didn't really follow me there. They would just watch the next TikTok. But there was no like continuity. And there was so much, everything that I said in the Trolls video that I don't like, the annoyance of people, of comments. It was like mostly that. And like how I talked about in this week's video about tangles and tension and release, I spent all of my time on TikTok trying to untangle and release all the new tensions that we're building from people misunderstanding me and not following my journey. I wasn't growing or evolving as a creator or as an intellectual at all because I couldn't. I was constantly having to untangle myself from people misunderstanding me who didn't care nearly as much about what I was trying to say as I did. And it messed with my head. Like, it messed with my worldview. It messed with my, but those numbers were so confusing. Because, like, here, like, a good video, like, the last video got, like, 9,000 views. TikTok, I was getting 6 digits. Those kind of numbers fuck with your head. You're like, I, like, thought this is the most value I've ever had in the world. This is my chance to, but the thing is, with TikTok, if you get numbers like that, that doesn't mean that people like your videos. It means that the robot thought you had content that would keep people in their platform. It means the robot approved you to keep people on that, like, somebody else's agenda, right? I was not serving my agenda. It was just plucking my guitar strings. It was so unrewarding, confusing, overwhelming, terrible. And so I really thought, like, I'm never touching shorts again. Like, I was like, I want people to see a thumb and a title and decide if they want to go on this journey with me or not. Probably explaining all that stuff to you about what happened to me with TikTok probably contextualizes my comment policy thing a little bit. I was just like, I am not here to be, a dumping ground for reactivity. I have stuff that I want to share with the world, and I want to learn stuff from the world. I want an exchange. So, I need a platform that is gonna slow down. So I think the last time we talked about shorts, we like I don't think I went into this much detail, but I did touch on it is a good idea for promotion though. Because even though I do not watch shorts, I do not flip through and let dopamine hits stab me in the eye. That's not a content. Like, at best, I will do like scrolling through an Instagram feed, because something about like the space between, and and if I happen to see a video along the way that's a follower that like, or somebody I follow, then I might stop and watch it. But that like whole video take up the screen swipe, whole video take up the screen swipe thing, do not do it. I mean, I'm not saying do not do it like you shouldn't do it. It's your business. But I do not do it. It's like being slapped in the face over and over again. So it is a good way for people who might not have heard of me, or maybe who have seen my thumbs in like their algorithm recommendations, and maybe if they saw me in their shorts thing, they might go like, oh, that's who that person is. So as far as and also, like I said earlier, I do really like that connected format. And I have a Lindsay's Fallout Instagram account that I don't post anything on. Because in my head, the thing that I love most, I mean, other than the stream with y'all, is making the videos. So I would say I like making thumbs half the time. Like, if I have an idea for a thumb, I love making the thumb. Like, this week's thumb, I loved making it. And last week's thumb, I loved making it. But sometimes I just like, oh my god, just put a close-up of a character's face, because it needs to have a thumb. And I care about selling what the video's about and getting people interested to click on it. But I like making the videos. I like talking and editing. I really wish I could just do those two things. Anything else, like, I hate subtitles and captions. I hate doing it. Hate it. But I also like when other videos have it, so it's something I'm willing to put myself through. But that's why the captions a lot of times will have mistakes, because I just cannot be bothered. Like, I just want to make the video, That's all, like, I just want to make the video. So the idea of making, like, promo reels to promote the video, or posting things on Instagram to promote the video, I'm just like, ugh! Like, I know it would help. I know it would be good for the brand. I know it would be good for the numbers. But I just want to make the next video. I feel so, like, bogged down. Like, I was telling Atlas, because now I'm posting posting reels and shorts for Atlas Omnicorp. I was like, I love making the shorts. Hate posting them. Hate posting them. That is the most tedious shit. Like, I wish I could just sit and make them all day and then have somebody else post them. And I actually tried that once. I tried to hire a company to post things for me. That went poorly. Because I don't know if control freak is the right word. It just became a weird thing to put that in somebody else's hands. Because I think I've said in comments and maybe in videos before something about, like, it really ties back to how love is more valuable than money. I love myself. I pay them. So these people are working for money, not working because of how much they care for and love my content. So because I care for and love my content, I can trust myself with certain things that I could never trust people that I hire for that. I'm sort of notoriously shitty to customer service people because I don't like the idea of being dependent on people who don't love me. It's trauma. It really is. Like, that's the great thing about me and Alice, is it's a business relationship, but it's very family business. There's a lot of love between us. And so anyway, going back to this particular week, and then I swear I see the comment, thank you, Warrior Girl. I just saw the tag that says @Lindsay's Fallout, and thank you for loving my videos, and my videos love you. Your vids rock. I try. So, going back to the topic of this reel this week. So because of the Atlas Omnicorp reels that I've been posting, if you haven't seen those, Atlas Omnicorp on YouTube and Instagram, and also on Instagram has the collaborator system. So Atlas Omnicorp reels are showing up on my Instagram and on his. I was kind of in the habit, and that makes it easier because I'm autistic and pivoting is a thing. So if I'm used to doing something, then it's easier for me to keep doing it. and I was 2 hours late to hang out with Kiwi on Friday night because I thought, for love of God, because normally I post videos on Friday morning, and so I thought I'd have a video up by Friday afternoon, so I thought for sure I'd be ready before the time I had slated to hang out with Kiwi at 5 o'clock that night. And no, we didn't hang out till 7 because I had to record that footage in Dead Money that you see in the video and the reel that I'm about to talk about. So I hung out with my friend for a while, and then at midnight, I was kind of wired because I had just been talking to my friend, and I'm not really good at going to bed. And the engine was greased. Is that an expression that works here? I often say I was lubed up when I'm talking about this concept, but that is a sexual metaphor, not for everybody. I was primed, there we go, to post a reel to promote my new Lindsay's Fallout video, and it just so happened that there was a very concise, like we talked about earlier, a very haiku-y, very clear beginning, clear end moment, internally contained moment that was short/reel length. It was, I think, 1 minute and 45 seconds, which is actually kind of long for a reel, but under the cutoff. And I happened to put a whole lot of work into that very short period of time because of all the Dead Money recordings. That was the whole reason I was late to hang out with my friend. And it was a topic that felt very relatable and timely. It's the whole idea of these, Fallout fans who are attached to the past. It just felt so right to be a short/reel. And I'd never done a short/reel that pointed to a long-form video before. And it just felt like the moment. Y'all, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, everything that I just said, that was my reasoning. That was 100% my reasoning. I was awake, I was primed, I knew exactly what shot I wanted to do, I put work into it, I stood by what I said. And then I posted it on Instagram and YouTube. And I haven't looked at the numbers on those yet. I think they're pretty humble, last I saw. But the comments are honestly exactly what you should expect from a video where I am declaring pity for old school fans who are overly attached. The words I use are obsessed and attached. Okay? And I think that's important to point out because I didn't say people who prefer the older games. I said people who are obsessed and attached. So lots of people prefer the older games. Lots of people don't like what Bethesda has done with the franchise. That's not what I'm talking about. Those people don't need to let go. In fact, a lot of those people, have. They're playing other games. I'm talking about the people who dedicate a significant portion of their day-to-day adult lives to arguing and yelling at people who like newer Fallout shit. That is a crazy waste of time. And those people should let go. I'm not engaging these comments, but an idea that I jokingly said to my friend that I was hanging out with today is, I just want to tell these people, if this video is about you, you need to let go. And if this video is not about you, you need to let go. Oh my God, and I was like, oh yeah, this is why I left shorts and reels. This is why. It's predictable that this crowd came out, and I know a lot of people in this context would have the attitude of engagement. Who cares? These people are obviously getting their jollies from, being shitty to people like me, so let them do it. Why? And me and my friend had this really long conversation today about, kind of community responsibility. We talked a little bit about, we've talked about doing a Discord, right? And I've been so resistant to doing that because right now it's a lot of mental energy for me to just decide what comments I will or won't tolerate for me. But if we have a Discord and it's a community and I'm moderating a Discord community, then I can't just think about my own nervous system and my own boundaries. I have to think about what's good for y'all. And that's a lot of responsibility that I'm not sure that I have capacity for. and I'm not comfortable having somebody else do it, because if I'm doing this and I'm making money, it feels exploitative. Ever since Hollywood, I have a rule: if I'm making money, you're making money. So if anybody's working for me, which is what moderating my Discord would be, I'm not comfortable doing that unless you are getting paid. So basically, I don't want to do anything I can't do on my own right now. And this is why I quit the Dins. I had a YouTube show from 2012 to 2013 that was starting to get successful, and that is why I quit. Because we had like a crew of 6, and I couldn't keep doing it if it wasn't making money, and if it started to make, and it wasn't even close to just paying me, much less paying 6 people. You know? So I don't want to be in over my head like that ever again. And so going back to, I'm making decisions about comments and moderation just for myself and not other people. I have it in me to keep dealing with and looking at and deleting and reviewing and reading YouTube full video comments, but it's got to be a free-for-all in shorts comments. Doesn't feel like a good idea to not allow comments on shorts, because it just seems like that would just kill the engagement on the video. And also, people kind of expect shittiness in shorts comments, but I just don't think I can look at shorts comments, like, if I'm gonna keep doing this. Just hope that the YouTube catching system is good enough to stop, like, anything severely gross and horrific. Because I can't read those comments. I can't. Like, if you guys watch the troll video, I'm talking about how annoyed I am just with the steady stream of, like, low percentage waste of my time shit that comes through the long form videos. But the shorts, especially like on a video like that, even if I don't post anything that incendiary again, like, what a shot out of the gate. What a topic to do right out of the gate with the shorts. It was midnight. I didn't think of that through. I still probably would have posted it because of all the other things about it that made it a good idea. But I forgot. I forgot, which is embarrassing. I was tired. I forgot that was gonna be what it was. So, but I do want to get more of the right people to the long form videos, and the shorts are a good way to put it. And quite frankly, I'm sad that the Lindsay's Fallout Instagram is basically dead. I want there to be stuff there, and this is the natural choice to do shorts that promote the long form YouTube videos. And so I want to give it a shot, but it's totally going to be treated like promo for the bread and butter, which is the long form YouTube. And one more thing about, I have one more thing on my list here, and then I'll scroll back up and look at what you guys said in chat about, I caught a glimpse. Right now I have in YouTube Studio, when it shows me comments, I just have it hiding shorts. But before I hid the shorts, I caught a glimpse of a comment from the crowd that is attached to the old Fallout games that hated my short. And I'm like, this is case in point why I can't look at these, because it's a gravity well. It's a vortex. It becomes how I described what TikTok was like for me, where all of my energy and my nervous system and all my creativity becomes pointed at counter-arguing people either saying stupid shit or misunderstanding what I said. And it becomes that constant untangling of tension of quests that were given to me by angry, to use some spiritual language, lower vibration people. And it makes me feel trapped in the mire. It makes me feel, like, I don't know, just picture being, like, tangled up in vines. That's how it makes me feel. So, what this comment said, I'm just gonna get this out of my system and then not look at these anymore, was something about like, I wish I remembered the exact wording. Let me think for a second. Like I remember the vibe because my Gestalt processing autistic brain remembers concepts more than words. It says something like they took what's ours and now they want us to let go. Something like that. And that really stopped me in my tracks. Like, that this person's attitude was that old school Fallout belonged to them, that it was taken from them by people like me. The implication was like me and new fans, not Bethesda specifically. And that these thieves, like me and Bethesda, and people who like modern Fallout and are like leaders of the narrative of what Fallout is, took something from this person and now have the audacity to tell them to let go of what we took. That was so shocking to me because that's like a guy dating a girl and then the girl like grows a different direction in life, gets a job another place, isn't really on the same page with this guy anymore and decides to break up with him and move on with her new life. And he's sitting back there going, she stole her from me. Like, no, dude, Fallout moved on. Fallout changed. Fallout never belonged to you. Fallout was not... You were not entitled to Fallout continuing to be the way you needed it to be, my friend. Like, the idea of feeling betrayed by something separate from you changing is egomaniacal entitlement that blows my mind. Like if I really loved a franchise, this has happened to me. I used to love Star Wars. Like a lot of people, after The Last Jedi, I was over it. Like, I have been, told to come back and check out Andor, and I watched the first few episodes and I liked it. But I used to be really into Star Wars. Like, my number one hangout spot when I lived in LA and I was trying to be a movie director was the Scum and Villainy Cantina. Like, I knew the owners. I was there like 3 days a week. I was really into Star Wars. And when Star Wars didn't hold my attention anymore, I moved on. Like, the thought never even crossed my mind that, like, J.J. Abrams stole Star Wars from me. I never felt that entitled to keep Star Wars where I could see it. Like, but something about that comment, that sentiment, really kind of clarified and got me thinking, like, what's going on here? Like, what the problem is. The like, under the surface. Like, I think a lot of us have the attitude of, I can't imagine, like, seeing that a franchise that you like change and not just moving on to something else. Like, I think that's bewildering to a lot of us. Like, if you don't like what Fallout is doing, then do something else. And I had thought about the nervous system attachment thing a lot. Like that, I did feel like I was pretty aware of, that there was like, that there was an attachment, like in like the Are They All Addicts video. I talked about that a lot in the Are They All Addicts video. Like, I knew that there was an attachment thing, but I don't think I had really grasped the entitlement and ownership, the entitlement to ownership aspect. Like, that they really feel like they were entitled to, that something was taken from them that was theirs. And that just feels like such a painful way to have a relationship with fandom. That just, and how small your world must feel. But as you can see, considering how much this like grasped my attention, and that's just one comment, you can imagine why I don't want to see a whole sea of these. Because I want to move on with my journey. I'm like God in the police thing, like in the montage, being like, I don't want to be imprisoned by other people's pain anymore. That's why I left personal development. Because I really wanted to help people. But if your life is about helping people, then you're surrounded by people who need help all the time. And I want to evolve. I want to move on. You know? I want to keep exploring more and more ideas. Which I guess, you know, to end my little rant before I look at chat, is why I don't think that my nonsense comment reply thing that I talked about in the troll video is gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. I think I was kind of looking at it wrong. At the end of this week's video, I said something like, okay, how do you find you? And I ended in a very pointed way. I said something like, look at what you love, not away from what you fear. And I can't give these people attention. Like, it is so irritating to have to endure, like I said in the troll video, to have to block and hide. And there's also, like, the feeling of guilt of, like, silencing people and swatting people away, because I know every single one is a person. But I need to be looking at and focusing on what I love and less on what I reject. And I need to just hit that fly swatter, hit that, and just swat the flies away and keep my focus on moving forward. And I think if I'm really honest with myself, the reason I've been resistant to do that is I'm afraid of being lonely. Because that's what happens when you evolve, when you move forward in a world full of people who are too scared to move with you, or people who feel ownership of the past and to their attachments. I'm like, I want to keep moving forward. I want to keep learning more. I want to keep expanding. And I think that I'm afraid that if I do that, that not enough people will come with me and that I will be alone. Because I'm already pretty alone. But also in for a penny, in for a pound. Like, is that the expression? Like, if you already... I always ask questions about expressions. I'm in this far into the pain tunnel that I talked about in the Are They Addicts video. And I need to limit how much I think about people that I think are just so silly and sad. And just like I talked about in this video and the last video, that makes me feel kind of evil. That I'm putting myself above people like that. And I think that's what I've been afraid of. That feeling of I feel evil for putting myself above people like that is the fear of being alone. If I'm evil and putting myself above people, then I'm going to be alone, is the fear. So if I keep giving into that, then I'm not following my own advice. I'm turning away from what I fear instead of toward love. And the love direction is increasing my intellectual understanding and my expansion and my exploration of ideas and constructive thinking. And I have to come to another plateau in the big expansion journey, the next level of the nesting doll, and accept that loneliness is a price I'm willing to pay. To not be bogged down Man, this was some good shit. I wish I was hitting the record button. So, now I will scroll up and see what y'all said about everything I just said. That was a while, but I wanted to get all of that out of me. Man, you guys said a lot. I liked your video on the attachment of the fandom to the games earlier than 4. I once had a friend I really enjoyed. I'm like, which one? I have chat open in like 3 different windows. I'm like, which one is the easiest for me to read? Okay, this is the one that's on the other side of the microphone, so maybe this makes the most sense. Older son loves The Greatest Showman. Heck yeah! This is the greatest show! Yes, please like the stream if you like the stream. Lindsay, the algorithm, and the Funky Death Claw shall thank you for doing so. Yay! Funky Death Claw! He stopped talking to me completely when I said I liked Fallout 4. Oh my god. I totally get that. The stories that really mean a ton to me are those that taught me about the real world or got me thinking about it. That's right. I credit New Vegas with my ability to let go and move on effectively. Nice! Years later, that mentality was extremely beneficial when I had to punt at life. Yeah. I know what you mean. I totally don't get it. Sure, none of the games are perfect, but Fallout 4 is a blast, and Far Harbor is top-notch writing. Far Harbor was so good! So shockingly good. That may or may not be related to the next video game video I do, but I can't say that I'm gonna do things anymore. I can't, because then I end up not doing it, and then I hate myself. The motif of the spiral is something that is coincidental to a discussion I had with my IRL, and it's a very spiritual shape, the spiral. Where he mentioned the spiral in relation to Buddhism and the rise of the self away from the illusion. Yeah! Yeah! The maze is not for you. I'm not even saying I don't like the earlier games, but I see nothing wrong with liking what you like. Yeah. I think it comes down to folks wanting to play, watch, or read to escape the real world. Yep. And get annoyed if it reminds them of that. I don't agree, but I think that is just part of it. And that is so sad. I don't want to be in the muck with those people. You mentioned in the last video that you worked for the Anime Expo folks. Did you perhaps work with the Anime Festival Orlando back in 2012? No. No, I never Florida, only California. Following on what Fei Jun has said, there's also nothing wrong with being grateful we have the games we have, or all of which could have been vaporware. Maybe how parents are liars, like Cooper to his daughter in the birthday party. Did he lie to her? Oh, and he said it's just smoke? That's just a fire? That is an interesting... That's very different than what Hank did. Like, I think when he said that to his daughter, he thought they were very possibly literally about to die and didn't want her to be scared. I feel like that's different. But interesting and debatable. Interesting and debatable. Like, I'm also thinking about the movie Life is Beautiful, if you're familiar with that, where he, like, lies to his daughter about how they're in a concentration camp. This is an interesting topic. There's a lot of gray area in there. I had to delete TikTok because it kept lowering my volume when I was reading audiobooks. That's annoying. Plus the things, that thing's algorithm is absurd. And so has such an agenda. Send high five for 100 joules. Yay! I don't watch TikTok. Didn't care for it. Me either. I never liked TikTok. Even when I was, like, doing it. I only did it to post. I never did it to consume it. I never liked it. Which should have been a sign that it wasn't the right place for me. Speaking as a creator, short forms require a degree of discipline and ability to focus attention on the task at hand. What kind of content do you make? I see it's a 1 out of 2, so I'm assuming you're gonna... This is different from the extreme short, which becomes a vehicle of brief, non-contextual statements, so shorts can and have to pack the right amount of context to be unpackable instead of none. When you say short forms require a degree of discipline, are you talking about, yeah, create... I guess you said speaking as a creator, so you do mean discipline to create them. And I agree with that. There is a part of me that enjoys the challenge of making a short that is, like, self-contained. So glad to hear someone else share those gripes with short form that is more often brain rot versus long form. Yeah, I really, like... It's really the platform that I have a bigger problem with than the content itself. I am getting there too, Carpels. Grumpy old man of the family. I think this short form content also has messed up audience with shows released weekly. I heard a ton of folks wish Fallout Season 2 was dropped instead of weekly. Like, do you mean, like, it makes people more impatient, or people posting spoilers between episodes? I always thought that the best kind of shorts are those that give the viewer a snapshot of what the main channel is about in an either eye-catching or thought-provoking manner. Yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to do that. We can be the Statler and Waldorf of the feral cools. Is that what's that a reference to? Oh, Grumpy Old Man? Is that Grumpy Old Men? Trouble is we don't have much in ways of venues for non-YouTube formatted content. Yeah. I have dibs on Gonzo, the Great Roll. Like, so far, watching the short form Instagram videos while in the scrolling format and not in the swiping format is what works best for me. I actually really like Instagram scrolling, like, better than all, like, the other options, especially because it shows you one piece of content at a time, but it doesn't, like, lock you into it the way that the swiping format does. It feels like more opt-in that way. But I really wish Pinterest did what Instagram does. Like, Pinterest is, like, 2 columns. I wish I could just look at one Pinterest at a time, like an Instagram. I do confess, I like properly crafted shorts that loop seamlessly. Yeah, that is cool. I appreciate when that's done well. Especially when it fits, like, a joke. So, like, it's funny that it loops. That's amusing. I'm like the man, bear, pig of Fallout, half man, half tree, half coherent. I love subtitles. I love watching them. I hate making them. And some of those, highly closer to actual shows. See, now we need Muppet identities? What Muppet am I? Tell me. I don't know. I don't want to see the Warrior Girl thing saying your vids rock, and I already responded to that. Thank you. Oh, I don't want to think who I would be in South Park. Who am I in South Park? Depends on what group I'm in with a lot of this stuff. Like, I think in my old group of friends, I was very Cartman-like. I think I felt very much like the Cartman at different times in my life. But I feel like now, I'm always fucking Stan. I've always learned something today. And hiring a third party often brings in dumbassery. Did similarly got kicked in the ball bags? If we're picking Muppet identities, I choose Ludo from Labyrinth. Smell bad. My favorite go-to role model as a kid was Guy Smiley. Why does that sound so familiar? I feel like I'm like literally, I'm such a nerd. Oh, Sesame Street. Just stopping in while I'm getting ready to go out and work Lyft in Pittsburgh. Hell yeah! Do you know who was born there? I was born there. I was born there. I was born in Pittsburgh. Is that where you were going with that? Hanging out in that? Down at the park and visit the aviary. There's exotic birds there to look like pigeons to me. Did they break out the torches and pitchforks? What was that responding to? I knew that was going to be a thing. I should have, like, kind of warned you guys. Like, I want to see you guys' response, but because it's going to be a long time before I go back and read the chat, I'm not going to know, like, what you were referring to. The baby that's immune to the sickness in the pit, DLC for Fallout 3. I'm obsessed and attracted to all. Yeah, XO1 is my jam. XO1's my favorite armor. She knows who I am talking about. Was it me? I did engage a bit in the comments. I tried an absurd comment for one. Oh, in the comments in the short? Diss her? I hardly know her. Did anyone else just have an ad split screen? I'm sorry. I put low frequency ads because I'm not good at getting you guys to give me super chat money. So I gotta try to monetize this a little. I keep thinking that I'm gonna do like some sort of super chat game or something to get to monetize. I'd rather get super chats than put ads on it, but if I don't put something on it, then I don't feel responsible. I gotta do capitalism. I appreciate the integrity in your stance versus paying employees and respect and love your strong boundaries regarding your MH. I don't remember what that stands for. Am I dumb? Your shorts are useful as you say, but the costs of dealing with the comments aren't often worth it. Yeah, it's just I'm still figuring it out, and you guys are just kind of watching the journey unfold. I used to use shorts as trailers for my full videos, but people just watch shorts, don't go to the whole video. I just use shorts as the highlight reel, and they work better in that template. Interesting. I need to see your channel. Who all here, like, has a channel and makes videos? Sound off, and I will watch your videos. And that's not bullshit, I really will. Because I am very socially motivated in that way. If people are making stuff, then I want to see it. But the cost of dealing... Okay. HollowCat9 says, Hi, HollowCat9! Also the old Fallouts are still there. That's another thing. And I think when I was saying earlier about the realization of the feeling of ownership and betrayal that something was taken from them when the new games were different, I think shed some light on why that's not good enough for them too. This is like telling George R.R. Martin that he got the ending of Game of Thrones wrong. Ha! Watch more Andor. I will. I'm gonna write that down too. I'm gonna make another notes from stream. I used to do that a lot more. I don't know why I quit doing that. Okay, so watch Valkyrie entertaining. You should give Andor another try. It's a very topical in the current... Yeah, I really should. I want to. I liked the first... I just kind of got distracted for some reason. That happens to me sometimes with shows. Like, it's almost impressive to me if a show, like, really holds me. Like, I'm watching Hacks right now, and I'm taking that to the end. I fucking love that show. Andor is good sci-fi that just happens to be set in the Star Wars verse. Yeah, that's the vibe I got. And it's also like saying Bethesda Fallout ruined my memories when the person who remembers the Cliffords, to use a severed head reference, rather than the creators of the new games. The Mandalorian first 2 seasons is good. The Skeleton Crew is a decent... Oh, a decent Goonies show, Goonies-like show. I just watched the Goonies for the first time. I loved it. It was so fun. It's mentioned all the time, and I just never watched it, and so I did. Oh yeah, I just posted a thing, so you guys saw that. I guess I posted about it already. Don't sleep on Skeleton Crew. I'm old enough that I was in high school when The Next Generation came out, and I recall fans complaining about how Next Generation wasn't real. Oh my, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. My dog is making noise. I'm gonna let her out. Okay, Piggy Pie. You can be free! Alright, there you go. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want, but I'm streaming. Piggy Pie. Okay. I just came back, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, we have been talking. Oh shit. Focus. We've been talking about. Well, I guess that's not a new comment anymore, but whenever you said that, people have probably already caught you up. I'm back in time right now. I'm in a time warp. I grew up with episodes 4 through 6. Appreciated the whole moved away from what I loved as a kid teen. Growing to do so, not being possessive of the past, has helped. Yeah, I mean, I'll always love how I felt about the original Star Wars stuff. I also think my taste changed. It wasn't even just that Star Wars changed. I changed. Like, a big part of what I loved about Star Wars was being a part of that sci-fi cultural phenomenon. It was just cool. I didn't see in Star Wars the things that I see in Fallout now. Am I having an allergic reaction to what? What made you think I was having an allergic reaction to something? Have you tried ignoring all but the most insulting ones? DS9 wasn't as good as TNG, a black commander who couldn't even make captain. I don't think it was that he didn't make captain. I mean, he did become a captain eventually. I feel like he didn't want to. I feel like there was, like, stuff going on with that story. Sorry, I just came in, so I don't know. Oh, right. Remember the backlash over Spock? Oh, you're being discerning, and that curbs a lot of the loneliness because it helps filter out the ones who make you lonely anyway. Right. I need to start looking at it like that. I'm, like, not giving myself permission. It's that whole, like, do I have the right thing that I need to take my own advice about a lot of things. Like, okay, in this video, I talked a lot about, like, The Greatest Showman and how, like, basically when I went the beats of the story that were relevant and how he goes on this distracting journey with the ego only to come back home afterwards. My most distracting journey with the ego story of my life happened after I did the 18-episode series talking about that. Like, I hadn't learned the lessons that I was teaching or like explaining yet. And what a spiral staircase moment that was. When I realized, Lindsay, you just spent all this time with the most Jenny Lind person. Like, I really did. There were so many similarities between this person and the Jenny Lind character in The Greatest Showman. And this person was a fan of my Greatest Showman series. I remember one time, like, they asked for, like, a download of it to watch on a plane. And I'm just like, oh my god. Talk about cognitive dissonance. Like, these Fallout people that, like, aren't getting that the let go thing is about. Like, it was right there. It was Ruby Slippers. It was fucking Ruby Slippers. Like, that's how close the answer can be. It can be right in fucking front of you. In fact, I think sometimes things are harder to see when they're right in front of you. They're actually harder to see when they're closer. The backlash over Spock dying. When I rewatched the Star Trek movies as an adult, the whole Spock death and resurrection thing again, I kind of appreciated it in a new way. Same with what happened to Tasha Yar. Like, there were things that, like, seemed, like, cheap at the time, and then when you see, like, the full context of the story, hindsight, it wasn't as cheap as I remembered it being. Evolving will mean you will get to be a part of a new group of people who are on the similar level as you, plus you're constantly lifting us up to come with you. Ideally, that's a really beautiful thing to say. I really want to fight the negativity bias that makes me sort of ignore when people say things like what you just said. I really do. I want to think that way. Um, it's wild in here. Just jump in and start paddling. I wanted to add Star Trek to the comparison, so thanks for doing a good summary of the things. Star Trek was my major fandom before I switched to Fallout. It's like I left Star Wars for Star Trek, I left Star Trek for Fallout. And Cyberpunk is like my side hoe. Better to be alone than surrounded by the wrong people. Like, honestly, the only reason Cyberpunk isn't that big a part of my life is because I don't have Cyberpunk friends anymore, and there are only so many hours in a day. But I'm glad I got an excuse to bring up Cyberpunk. I wanted to bring it up before. I really wanted to bring it up a few times. I think I brought it up in stream, and there's another line in Cyberpunk that I love where she says, spirituality can only be personal. I love that. There's so much good shit in Cyberpunk. Lindsay's Fallout is allergic to bullshit. I am. It's a terrible affliction. Because there's bullshit everywhere. Everywhere. It's not just seasonal. On Star Wars, I think some folks just how much backlash the prequels got when they came out. I want to go back. Okay, I think I was like 11 or something when the first prequel came out. And I enjoyed it. I think I saw it in the theater like 4 times. And I want to see it now and see how I feel about it. The only part of that movie I remember like zoning out about was the pod race. I didn't give a shit. She hasn't said, but guessing she was exposed to the burning ball in the sky. Oh, is it because my face is red? Is that what you're talking about? My face is red, honestly, because of my weird health issues. I just went out with a buddy of mine to the museum, the new library release, and like literally like came home, fed my dog, lay down for a second, and then started streaming. So that's probably all it is. The fear is also felt by many others to the point that the fear is a real chance to leap into the unknown. The void! The void. It scares the shit out of me. We're each a light in a lighthouse and you're a ship in the storm of the internet. Yeah, maybe Lindsay is having an allergic reaction to troll bullshit. Yes, they flipped out over that. Now considered probably the best film, maybe Undiscovered Country. Dude, The Wrath of Khan is the shit. I love The Wrath of Khan. I'm glad I had an excuse to bring it up in a video. The original series movies, TNG and Deep Space Nine, are some of the best Trek. My favorite Star Trek character that I'm the most obsessed with, that I can honestly talk about for hours and hours and days, is actually a Voyager character, and that is 7 of 9. Which is great, because July 9th is actually my birthday. I'm not saying they're the same. I agree with you. I just think that there'll be an interesting topic about different types of lies. Lying from fear to kids is a real thing, and learning to appreciate my parents' frailties and fears has eased my anger against them. Now I mourn them. Honestly, I really, really wish... Like, if my mom hadn't, hurt me as much as she did, I really wish I could have that attitude about my mother's fears, but they cost me so much. And there was no apologies. And there were some very disastrous choices without remorse. So it really, really fucking sucks. Because I still love my mother. I love my parents. I really love my parents. It really, really breaks my heart that I don't know my parents. But I can't live in... we talked about in the video today about, are you going to live in their reality or not? And I basically can't find my place in real reality and honor their reality at the same time. I think it'd be easier if I could lie, which I sounds like bullshit. I swear to God, it's the truth. I find it extremely cognitively challenging to lie. It's complicated. I can't maintain the stories. I need to live, like, in alignment. I can hold my cards, I can, like, keep things to myself, but I can't act like one thing is true when something else is true. I can't. It's too confusing. There's an issue with long seasons because the need to content results in more slop than not. I think that today's media landscape could stand for longer seasons, simpler production value. Like more kind of theater, talky, dialogue-based shows. I think that modern audiences would respond well to that format. And I think it's weird that that's not more common. I mean, people are listening to podcasts all day, but we don't have a show like Star Trek that's like stripped down and just dialogue focused. Compare the quality of writing in something like Dexter versus Fallout. I haven't watched Dexter. My favorite loop short is the ones with the Fallout characters where he attacks the raider base and lets one escape, restarting the loop. I don't think I've seen that. Or if you prefer, like the Siskel and Ebert, hands up the butt snark A. I was saying that people want to binge and not wait for a week. Yeah. I really liked the once a week. I mean, obviously I benefited greatly from the once a week because the discussions and the videos after every episode. I think I've always liked Butters and that. Oh yeah, Butters, South Park characters combined with Guy Smiley has me worried. Speaking as a Discordian, Butters felt like the only one that was aspirational. There are a lot of. I've been obviously. I keep mentioning Always Sunny in Philadelphia because I'm definitely on an Always Sunny in Philadelphia kick. There's some similarities between Butters and Charlie now that I'm thinking about it. The idiot that's not an idiot. If I had to choose what Muppet am I think Snuffy from Sesame Street. Huh. How do people like me who subscribe to YouTube and don't get ads work? Do you get it do you get anything from me? My older son just started making videos. Does that count? I don't understand the question. I provide the content for my sister's channel. It's a channel that follows our D&D game, and I'm playing a bard, so I write songs. She started the channel so the guys in our group could listen. It's called 26 Fish because that's what we named our D&D group. Cute. I have taken from the, I have Tales from the Uber on my channel and some gaming content, playing 7 Days to Die and Jump Space, but I'm getting dry to launch a standalone gaming channel. Cool. Hey, you guys! I lost my place. Doggo was thirsty. Was that my dog? She was thirsty. Your hair was really red. Yeah, it's because I just got home and because I'm squishy and sensitive, and maybe it's one of the reasons why I can't lie. I'm not a good liar because I'm full of evidence all the time. No, it's not stream anxiety. It's literally physical exertion. Just walked home from thing. It feels weird, but cool and good is, I was a sensitive kid now. I do like these split ads. The old one made me lose track of where I started. Oh yeah, it was your comment about the Goonies. I remembered I liked something that you said before watching it again. I forgot it was you. Yeah. The hardness in seeing close things clearly is fully real for creators. My poems often feel sucky because I see the flaws so much. Adulting calls, I need to dash. Oh, I missed you, bye. I'm on a delay. I'm still a massive Star Trek fan, and yes, I call myself a Trekkie. I loved Deep Space Nine. My comment about Cisco is what the haters were saying. Oh, and he was a commander, but did get promoted, allowed for growth. I remember when you released your Greatest Showman series. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you're the one who's been there the whole time. Please forgive me if you already talked about it, but do you think you'll ever re-release it or make it again with the new info you have? I kind of mentioned this in the video that, like, I could see myself doing, like, basically prepping all the notes and doing, like, one live stream thing of just, like, rehashing that in a more concise way. Because if I keep telling myself I'm going to shoot it again and edit it again, I'm never going to. So I think if I do it live, that's like its only hope. And like sort of prepping a stream, and because I still have all the assets, I still have all the pictures and the stills. And I still have the episodes themselves. And the reason I didn't want to bog it down too much in the video today, or yesterday, this week's video, about why I took the Greatest Showman series online, but in a nutshell, the biggest reason is gender dysphoria. I have, like, long hair and makeup, I think, in those videos. I hadn't actually learned the lessons in life that I was, like, explaining. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. I didn't know I was gay yet. There's like a lot of weird like things about me in that video. And there's a section in there about demons, or like what I call demons, that I might have a different view on now. I don't want to watch it. It's hard looking at some of that old stuff. It really is. Like I still have a lot of the ideas, but I'd rather like look at a transcript of the stuff that I said and like do it again. Views from premium subscribers give a set amount to the video owner, same as the ad viewer. Oh yeah, I keep meaning to look into like what that is all about. Now that YouTube has like the member thing, that's different from. There's so many options. There's so many things that can be done, and there's just little old me and the amount of work and how hard it is to like turn it into anything lucrative. I don't know. I haven't met my big bird yet, but when I do, I totally intend to be their imaginary friend. I believe in you. I speak about split ads and attention. I hate endnotes, but love footnotes, as I always lose my place with endnotes. I'm not even sure exactly what that is, or what that refers to in the context of YouTube. Stargate! There's another show that I started and never finished. I loved the movie, and I started watching SG-1, and I really liked it, and then I got distracted, and I didn't finish it. I wonder how the Space Force will look in that show if it catch up with modern day. It was a pretty good show. I think they touch every type of topic you can in sci-fi. Yup. My religion requires me to tell the truth at all times. Fits great with my autism. Yeah, sounds like it would. Autism and lying is a weird thing. It's like, I think autistic people can lie if we're lying to ourselves as well. We just need one narrative. We just need one consistent narrative. That's why we are so often lore thumpers. I'd struggled most of my life with gender. I'm male-bodied, but gray gender. Basically 50 years, but the last 8 have been great. I'm 58, turned 60. Oh, wow! I mean, I don't know the same. Wow. I guess I just always assume that I'm like the oldest person in the room, but I guess that's not really true with my audience, is it? That's another thing that I had to like unlearn like crazy. Oh my god. I cannot believe how rigid of expectations that I had for my future in terms of gender and age. Like, I thought that, like, I was going to dry up into a pile of dust when I was 40, and that, as a woman, I had to, like, marry a man, and if I failed at that, then I would, you know, die. I don't know. Like, I really, really... And it's not that I didn't think other things were possible. I thought I lived in a world that didn't think other things were possible, so I didn't have a choice. But I kind of underestimated that there were other people like me that were going, wait a minute, this can't possibly be the only way to do life. And that if I decided to not do life... Like, I talk about this with Kiwi and Atlas all the time. Like, I thought, I can't come around and decide that I'm going to be a video game nerd when I'm 40, because everybody there's going to be 20 and I'm going to look like an asshole. But even before I had a chance to even be insecure about that for 5 minutes, I had other 40-year-old nerd friends. Like, instantly. Like, the universe just tied that all together. Like, without even trying, I ended up with... And they didn't even know how old I was. Like, it was just kind of a coincidence that we're all in the same age area. Nope, I'm definitely older than you. Not older than, but I've got AARP knocking on the door constantly. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you've been watching me since back in the day. But are you not going to tell me? Are you being mysterious on purpose? So I'll just assume older than me. Um, what time is it right now? I should probably take, we've been at it for an hour and a half. I should probably take a break and jump up and down, huh? Um, er, but before I do, I want to have like a plan of what I want to talk about when we get back. Has everybody, before I go, has everybody who has a channel that posts videos on YouTube said so? Because I want to write that down. So far I have Valkyrie Entertaining. But anybody else who has a channel, or if it's just like the channel that you're chatting from right now, and you post content, I want to know. You're 52. I've been really distracted lately. Has anyone been watching the new Devil May Cry season? Oh, there's a show of Devil May Cry. I forgot. Something happened in the first 2 episodes. In the game, there's a meme about a lawn chair, and it showed up in the show. Ah! I wish I was more familiar with Devil May Cry so I could enjoy that. I want to watch of this, but I have to go out and earn the money to pay the bills since YouTube pays Jack. Aha, yeah, it sure does. I'll watch the rest when I get home and leave a novel for you in the comments. Awesome. Please do. Thank you. I don't know what a... Oh, is that at the, Haha! Good job. With the tone tag. NSX. That reminds me of how me and Atlas say no hetero to each other. I should make vids, but still stuck in the name brand identity spiral. God, you're telling me I'm still doing it. Like, literally, I called Lindsay's Fallout. The reason I called this channel that is because it's the most direct, literal, you know, like, that's why my TikTok, the one I was talking about earlier, is called Lindsay Makes Videos. Because I was like, there's no way I could change that. That's my name. And then the whole Lindsay versus Dins confusion happened. So, my name is Lindsay, but I generally go by Dins. And then, now Lindsay's Fallout is all of a sudden a name that's not evergreen anymore. Like, there's no way to win. There's no way to have a name. That's why my company name is Zamdanga. That's just a nonsense word. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it means something to me, but it doesn't mean anything to the world. So, that's what makes it evergreen, and it can be anything. Because it's just a nonsense, catchy word. And now I'm like, maybe that's the answer. I should just make up words for everything. However, I didn't tell you guys this. I was going to put it in the community section of the video, but then I was like, no, because no. But I did start the singing channel because I've talked about how I want to sing for a while. There's nothing there yet, but I reserved the name on Instagram and YouTube. And I cannot believe that this wasn't taken. I'm so glad I claimed it. I cannot believe that this name was not taken. And I cannot believe that this name was taken by a lesbian. And you'll understand why in a second. The name, my name of my future singing channel, there's nothing there yet, is The Gayest Showman. The Gayest Showman, you guys, is me. That name was available. Instagram and YouTube. Is that not the greatest? I had the idea while I was taking a walk, and I was like mad rushing to get home. I'm like, I need to see if that's available right now. And if it is, I'm taking it. The Gayest Showman. Can you believe that The Gayest Showman is not a gay man? That is crazy. Just Gayest Showman was taken, but The Gayest Showman was not. HollowCat9 says I have a channel. Is it HollowCat9? Is that your, I will subscribe. I wish I could tell you guys what my 2 possible, episode topics are for next time. But if I do, then I will curse it, because this has come up a lot. Whenever in the community section, whenever I say I'm going to do this, with the exception of when I announced that I was doing the Ghoul Sea Ship video, because, like, the video was, like, already basically done. The Ghoul Sea Ship thing. So that's, like, the only time that I announced something specific that was coming next and it actually came next. I really feel like there's this weird ADHD curse where if I say what I'm going to do, then I won't actually do it. I might actually, because I am kind of tired and I didn't get enough sleep, so I might quit a little earlier, like maybe at like 9. No, it's 7 now. I'll see how I feel after break. Because I do really, really love recording game footage. And can I be honest with you guys? I'm, like, nervous about game topics. I'm nervous. I get some anxiety about it. I don't know if it's because of the lore thumper crowd. There's something about video game topics where I feel a pressure to, like, double check. But with TV show topics, I feel like I'm talking about a lot of abstractions. So I don't feel as much pressure to, like, Google and look things up. But with video game topics, I'm really paranoid about being inaccurate. Like, even in this video, this week's video, I was talking about the Mr. House Wizard of Oz thing. And I, like, put a qualifier. Like, I'm pretty sure this is true, but I can't say for sure. And that's sort of like a small taste of that anxiety. Because, and this goes back to that distortion of, like, there's thousands of you and one of me. If I get something wrong, I will get 1,000 comments correcting me. And it's like a dick pic every time. Like, I have to just look at, you got this wrong, you got this wrong. And sometimes I'll put a pin being like, yeah, I know. Like how I missed the detail in that one episode of the show that the woman who was with Stephanie was her mother. I missed that one line somehow. I watched the episode twice. I blanked out. I don't know. Or I was talking to whoever I was watching it with about Canada shit, and I just missed it. And because I didn't see it, I didn't want to assume that it was her mother, just because of, like, seeming age difference or whatever. And like, people were, like, tripping over themselves, climbing over each other to tell me that I missed that. It's fucking crazy. And it reminds me of, like, that study or something that, or there was this thing that went around about if you want information about something or want to ask for help for something, you're more likely to get people to help you if you do it wrong in front of them than by asking for help. And that's so irritating and true. And there are so many, and this is like the being handed quests thing. There are a lot of channels out there. I get so mad when I see this because I know what they're fucking doing. They will put typos or shit that's wrong in posts just so people in the comments will correct it and give them engagement. And you know what I really hate? Another example of that I hate is people talking about movies and showing clips from that movie, but not saying what the fuck the movie is, so that in the comments, people will be like, what movie is this? What movie is this? What movie is this? Oh my god. Y'all, we have to stop being such puppets. Like, I look at that stuff and I get mad. I don't fall for it, I get mad. I will, like, block an account. It's like I will, like, erase, like, I'll be like, not interested. I am so, we should be insulted when we see stuff like that. And I know a lot of people, like, who are, like, the Fallout OG, like, kind of lore thumper crowd. They look at me and they're like, why aren't you mad about Atom Shop and that kind of stuff? And I am sometimes. I am mad about stuff. I just, I don't know. I just look at that thing and I go, that sucks, but I don't say, like, I hate Fallout and it should all burn out and die. I just say I hate that thing that they did. Like, I kind of made a jab about the Atom Shop price for the power armor thing in the video today. Like, that was fucking bullshit. And I've also talked about how much I hate that, when they have bundles that are just a few atoms, like limited edition bundles, they're just a few atoms beyond the monthly Atom Shop, allotment. So that you will not only have a Fallout First, or the Fallout First allotment. So you will not only have Fallout First, they will make you spend a little bit more. I'm like, no, if I have Fallout First, that is my fucking Atom Shop budget. That is it. So don't give me my Atom Shop thing and then put a limited edition fucking thing so that I have to give you a little bit more money and I have to do it now because it's limited edition and I won't get the thing. That shit does piss me off. Like, just because I'm support Fallout doesn't mean I like everything that they fucking do. And I don't think I've ever mentioned this before because it just always feels like such a tangent, but while we're at it, I think it's also because there's so much negativity. I don't want to talk about the stuff that I don't like because it's I don't want to like it, because it's a gravity well, because the negativity is a gravity well. But for the most part, I have been like really intrigued and interested in the changes that they made to Mr. House on the show. I think almost everything, there are things that are different, but I feel like the context of the show explains those differences. Biggest example being, I think it makes sense that Mr. House pre-war would be a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more scared than Mr. House who fucking runs everything that we meet in New Vegas. Basically, pre-war House is the Wizard of Oz when he was a carny. Post-war House is the wizard in Munchkin Land. Doesn't it make sense that he would not be so confident when he's not in Munchkin Land? I'm really glad I have that reference. That's a great way to explain it. That is exactly the differences between Mr. House, pre-war and post-war, I think can easily be explained by that. And I can't believe I never thought of it till right now. It's because we just did the whole thing with the Wizard of Oz. So the only thing, it's such a small thing. It's one line. I think I might actually have Premiere open. I could probably find the exact line. I do have Premiere open. There's one line that House says in the season finale that I just can't imagine House saying. And it's so stupid. It's so small. But while we're here, fuck it. Let's do it. This is fun. So... Oh, come on. You should be able to find this. I'm trying to search the subtitles, but... Wow, apparently searching subtitles in Premiere is... shitty. Kaisar's Palace. Caesar's Palace. I'm just... what a sneaky joke. $24. You know if he loses, we're all dead, right? Oh, man. I was so... Well, I mean, I've talked about that in great length. This is gonna make me fucking crazy. It's right here. Here it is. This is the line. This is the thing that Mr. House says. See if anybody sees where I'm coming from with this. I rigged every aspect of the city so I could protect its future. I rigged every aspect of the city so I could protect its future. I cannot imagine Mr. House saying, I rigged. I don't think he would say that word. Because rigging has a negative connotation. And House has so much grandiosity about everything that he does. I don't think he'd use a word that cheap and con man sounding about something that he did. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Like, so the point is, I don't just sit there and like kiss this show's ass and be like there's something very rushed about this House info dump thing in this last episode. Like when he's like, oh, the Enclave did the Death Claws. Like, what? That's all you're going to give us about the Death Claws. After all that hype and build up. You're just going to say, oh, it's the Enclave. How cheap. You know? So I don't just think everything that the show did is amazing. I just don't think that the show destroyed, like, everything. Especially when it comes to things where it's like, y'all, the story hasn't even been resolved yet. We don't even know where it's going. Like, I don't know if this person's here. This is somebody who's actually, like, commented a lot on my stuff, who I would consider a supporter of mine. I don't think this person comes to chat. But somebody who was, like, saying that they destroyed the NCR on the show. And I was like, you don't even know where they're going with the NCR right now. We're just seeing the NCR through Maximus's eyes for the most part. Through Maximus's, child eyes. And through, the ghoul's sort of, disgruntled, bitter, but, you know, lesser of all the evil's eyes. Like, I think it would make the most sense for the story, as we've been experiencing it, for the NCR to take a dark turn in the next season. Like, I think did I talk about this in the last stream? That, like, I feel like, Maximus's natural destiny is to, you know, join the NCR, and then for Lucy possibly to be suspicious of the NCR, because they already set that up when Lucy met the NCR right after getting off drugs, or getting on drugs, actually, when she's, like, full of buff out. And, when her and the ghoul are walking away, she says, I just see a bunch of matching jackets, which is a reference to the matching jackets of the communists in the vault earlier. So, yeah, Lucy later says the comment about they're just slightly problematic, but we haven't really dealt with the fact that the Flame Mother, Moldaver, the leader of the NCR, or somebody strongly associated with the NCR, basically, sold Lucy's perfectly preserved pie to raiders to kidnap her dad, which, like, was the NCR in on that? You know, there's a lot of questions still about why Moldaver didn't age, like, what happened between Moldaver being pre-war communist to Moldaver being, the Flame Mother who teams up with raiders to kill a bunch of vault dwellers and kidnap Hank and this might be a dumb question. Why did she blow up the vault door? Like, did she not want people to go into Vault 32? And why? Why would she care? She didn't want people to follow her out? Was that what happened there? I need to watch it again. I tend to get confused in action-y scenes. I get kind of distracted. Unless the action scenes are done as fucking well as they are in Mad Max Fury Road, which is a masterclass. But normally I get lost during action scenes. Which goes back to what I didn't like about Star Wars Episode 1, the pod racing scene. Okay, I'm gonna look at chat for a second, and then I'm actually gonna take a break. Top Shelf Singing Channel name. Yes, I would have thought a Glee Club would already have it, right? With that luck, you better go get a lottery ticket too, right? Yeah, that movie's like nearly a decade old. Nobody took the Gayest Showman. I share that same form of curse. If I say I want to do something, it triggers my executive. Yup. It's It's gotta be an ADHD thing. It has to be. Perhaps, maybe do the video so there's a backlog there, and then line up and announce sort of like the previews of the drive-ins on the Far Harbor DLC. What was that referring to? It is HollowCat 9. Cool. Okay, I wrote that down. I didn't know it was her mother either until someone pointed it out on a video essay. Reverse Fallout canon. We all get annexed by Canada. Does that mean we get healthcare? Does Canada have healthcare? Deliberately stuffing up like that is a form of gaming the system. Exploiting, it's a feature, not a flaw. The corporate structure involving Bethesda is weird, especially where Todd Howard sits. And then the Providence equity shit explains so much of the marketing. It seems like such a corporate clusterfuck. Oh my god, please just, like, hire out help to make Fallout 5. If you're gonna be corporate overlords, be corporate overlords. You're not a game maker anymore, Todd. You're just not. It's funny, I never liked The Wizard of Oz, but I do like your comparisons with it to Fallout. I think I just didn't like the movies. I didn't get it until now. Like, the Wizard of Oz is kind of like the Greatest Showman thing. Like, the things that I didn't get about the Wizard of Oz really signify the life lessons that I needed to learn. I'm like, it's so stupid. She went on this stupid adventure, and all Glinda had to do was tell her to tap her heels 3 times. That's so stupid. And now I'm like, oh, that's the point of the story. It's a distracting adventure. And that she had the power all along. That is the fucking point. And now, like, oh, there's so many stories that annoy the shit out of, I think it annoy a lot of autistic people, like, oh, you had the power all along. Like, we think of that as a stupid cliche. And yet we continue to live our lives, not grasping that we had the power all along. Like, how many times do we have to see that story before we understand? And not cut to the ghoul. Now you understand. And the ghoul is the one who says, thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every single time. How many times do you think the ghoul has been sidetracked by bullshit? You know? Maybe he, like, hasn't been beelined looking for his family for all that long. Maybe he's been sidetracked by a lot of shit for a long time. And that's why now he's like, I'm not getting sidetracked by shit anymore. I have been pulled into these side quests so many times. I'm getting my fucking son, you know? I mean, I know it's his daughter, but, like, I'm making a kind of a Fallout 4 joke. Like, and maybe that's why he doesn't stay and help Maximus and Lucy. This is an interesting topic. I love this fucking show. I feel bad for people that aren't getting anything out of it. I'm getting so much out of it. I commented on your video, your comparison of Mr. House being like the Wizard of Oz got me thinking, yeah, right? In the story sequels, the way the wizard got happiness was openly sharing his inventions and then getting an opportunity to learn magic. I hope for a similar happy ending for House, but I doubt it. Yeah. I don't think the House can or should. Another great Cyberpunk 2077 quote. Wrong city, wrong people. Cyberpunk 2077 has so many good quotes. It's so weird. That game is so beloved, and yet I also think it's underrated at the same time. Like, I feel like it's beloved, not for the wrong reasons, but the things that are the most special about Cyberpunk 2077, I feel like, are weirdly overlooked. If you haven't played that game, it might not be what you think it is. It is deceptively spiritual. There is a meditation quest line in that game. And tarot cards are a big part of it. I'm betting that they put that in there so the ghoul could echo it later when he was talking to Max. What, the now you understand thing? I think he will say something like, I predicted or I anticipated, so I adapted. Exactly! That would have... I anticipated every aspect of the city. Exactly. Rigged? He wouldn't say that. And it's funny, it's such a small thing, but it almost bugs me more because it's such a small thing. One of these days, guys, I have no idea when to apply this skill. When or how. But I feel like I have a very like this is like Atlas and I've been talking about. So when it comes to writing fiction, I have like all these fiction ideas and stuff, but I never like write anything because the only thing I'm really good at is dialogue and like story trajectory. But I'm really bad at exposition, descriptions. Um, I'm a screenwriter basically at heart, and I think I could write the shit out of Mr. House. Like I almost want to write a fan fiction with Mr. House in it just so I can do something with that. Like I think I have such a strong internal understanding of what he would or wouldn't say. And I think a big part of that is I think he's the same neurotype as me. I think we're both PDA autistics. So the way that he thinks about things and speaks makes perfect sense to me. And I don't know what to do with that. Like I just don't have any ideas or of anything to apply that to. And I hope I come up with something because I think it's a really like I want to show that off. Like Mr. I don't know if I can do improv of it though because I might have to like I might need thesaurus access like to stop and think about like but I think I could write something that is very like maybe like that could be a fun game of like, okay, ask me a question and I'll answer it as Mr. House. I don't know. Should we do that in like a chain? I don't know. Maybe that's something we can do with the Discord. I don't know what to do with this, but I really think I could do it. I agree with your Maximus NCR prediction. Also doesn't count whatever the mind blowers will affect all mind blowers. That's really taken off. Atlas like literally is advertising the. Oh, have you guys seen? Oh, I don't. I know I posted about it, but um. So I was supposed to put these on the website like literally today, but focus. We did make them. We did make Robbie's mind blowers, and we got these little adhesive strips to put these. We put one on the back of my neck like at Wasteland Jamboree, and it stayed on all day. Like it stayed on like I had to like take it off in the bath. It stayed on all fucking day. Um and it was really really funny because I would like be walking around and people would be like laughing about what's on the back of my neck and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just really love my job. The house on the show is different, yeah, but I like I do not feel like the house on the show is a betrayal. I think that I have such a strong attachment to that character, and I feel like if I'm happy, they really put work into it. I give the writers the benefit of the doubt when House said that line. The benefit being they were just referencing the opening of New Vegas. Yeah. I may be biased too because I love House's actor. I do love House's actor too. It's like I do not want to take it away from anybody who was not irritated by that line. If you weren't irritated by it, awesome. I'm not like one of these people that wants everyone to share my pain. I love Fury Road so friggin' much. I do too. Todd's now a suit, not a yeah. Dude, I had an opportunity at Wasteland Jamboree to like talk to somebody who worked directly with Todd who was very inebriated. And I feel like I could have gotten a lot of dirt. But then I decided I'm better off not having it. It's like the thing I talked about a couple videos ago where, you know, you don't know if you're safe with information. One of my game theory videos. And I was like, what if I like pry some like hot goss out of this guy? And then I go, oh my god, I can't tell my stream this. I'm better off not knowing. Because I can't lie, I didn't want to have to deal with having to make the decision not to share stuff with you guys, so I just didn't take advantage of the situation. But I bet that this guy has some shit he wants to vent about. But I'm moral. Eyelash glue might be an alternative adhesive if someone objects to the strips. I think that, like, I don't remember exactly what kind of adhesive that he used, but he, like, I think he's shipping the mind blowers out with. I need to make the website listing. I was supposed to make the website listing for these yesterday, but I was editing the video. I got behind on a day, so I should probably do it first thing tomorrow morning. I have so much Atlas work to do. I'm still bogged down. I still have so many reels left to edit. And then there's, like, other work that needs to be done. Like, maybe he's gonna kill me if I say this. Okay, we might... I'm gonna say might because I don't want to, like, hold him to something. But this is something we're trying to figure out how to do. And that is the Robo-Scorpions. But I don't know if that's gonna be, like, a main product or if that's gonna be, like, a one-off, like, for a charity auction kind of thing. But, you know, I said that in the video, and he's like, well, now fuck, I have to figure out how to make the Robo-Scorpions, so I have to figure out, my homework is to extract the mesh from the game. Stay hydrated! Yeah, actually, you really should. But y'all, I've been saying that forever, because Atlas and I both have the same unnatural, off-the-charts love for Old World Blues, and that whole sort of cheesy mad scientist thing, and the Robo-Scorpions thing. Who here has played Old World Blues? And I just want to see if I should talk about it like I'm talking to people who've played it or people who haven't. It's so fun. Okay, Dead Money is such a powerful story, but it is a slog to play. It is, like, I don't ever want to play Dead Money again. And a lot of people say that about Dead Money. Like, it is such a cool story. But the hologram ghosts don't die. And when you walk into rooms, there's a beep sound until your head explodes. I could do without both of those things. Like, I see what they were doing with that. Dead Money is a lot more horror. But it is such a cool story. Old World Blues, though, is fun. It's kind of got, like, I don't want to say fetch quest vibes, but, like, Old World Blues is more fun, I think. And it's just a joy. Like, every time you talk to a character, like somebody from the think tank, like, the opening dialogue of Old World Blues is like 30 minutes long, and yet it's just fun to listen to them talk. Like, I think I've used that line that I put in this week's video of, you have a new spine, use it. I think I've used that before. I think I used it talking about Norm, like finding his confidence. You have a new spine, use it. It's just a blast. But, there's something about Old World Blues that just puts a huge fucking smile on your face. And the characters, the mad scientist, experiments, like, Kiwi loves Muggy. Muggy is his favorite, if you know who Muggy is. There was a Muggy, like a prop of Muggy that people had set up in the convention center. I took some pictures of it. It's pretty fucking great. I love Toaster. Toaster is my favorite. Toaster is my favorite of the, like, they're like, all of these objects, like, have personalities. Kind of like this Beauty and the Beast sort of vibe. So there's, like, you know, Muggy's not a mug, though. Muggy is a tiny Securitron that is obsessed with mugs, which is different. He's a miniature Securitron. But even though Muggy is a ridiculous character, they're, like, there's a joke in Rick and Morty about, like, what is your purpose? To pass butter. Oh my god. Muggy has kind of, that was almost like I think that episode of Rick and Morty was after New Vegas, but Muggy is kind of a similar thing, where he just has a stupid purpose. And I feel like, that's very reminiscent of sort of recognizing how our culture has sort of conditioned us. Like, I think about this a lot with my, like, I'm a video editor. I really am. I love it. I love making video content. I've been making videos since I was 10. I've been very primed. Like, it's very much who I am. Like, it's so deeply trained into me. And yet, like, recognizing that I'm sort of like a pug. I can't really survive in the wild because I'm a domesticated farm animal that survives on like a digital media sort of world. And I have to participate in systems that are kind of shitty to a certain extent because that's like how I'm built now. It's sort of a thing to face. And I feel like characters like Muggy sort of address that. I wish they made a companion that you hang out with instead of just someone you put back in your head or have. That's an interesting idea. And I find it kind of distracting how much he sounds like Stewie. Like, I know that like that was the inspiration. Though I do think it's funny that Brain I love that Brain isn't just you. I love that. I'm obsessed with that. That's something I could probably rant about. Like, and that whether you're a male or female character, that Brain sounds the same. Like, there's so many, like, that's the thing about Old World Blues, is it's so funny, but all of it has, like, a point. It's saying something. It's all, like the fact that Brain isn't you, just that sentence alone tells you what the point is. Your brain isn't you. And so many people, like, the way we're educated. I know it's supposed to be break. You're right, you're right, you're right. Has anyone seen a brain in a Hawaiian shirt? I love the interplay between... Okay, I am going on a BRB, and I'll be back. And I'm gonna stop doing that thing where I feel like I need to, like, decide something. How about this? You guys decide what you want to ask me about while I'm on break. That would make me happy. Sending me money would also make me happy. Both of those things. So I am going on break. BRB. Alright, I am back and I am looking at chat. How about the fact that the inciting incident in Fallout 4 is just the fridging trope taken to its logical termination point? LOL is what I think about that. Nice seeing you. Oh, bye-bye, Feijun. Thanks for coming again. And it's still so cool that you were, no, you're not the one that was there since the Dins days. That was somebody else. Mixing people up. Why? Regardless, you're gone now. Bye. Cody Coaches. Thank you. I will write that down. Anybody else who has a channel, please tell me. Why do some people, mostly speak for myself, like Mr. House over the Institute, even if an outsider who only wants to show thinks they are the same? Like Mr. House over the Institute, even if an outsider who only wants to show... I don't know, understand. I think the music is from Fallout 1 or 2. It might be from both. I don't remember what I picked for the first song. But yes, the music in the BRB screen is currently Fallout 1, Fallout 1 and 2 stuff. Because I got copyright flagged for the Fallout 4 theme that I was using before. So I'm in the process of trying to purge all generative AI from my, asset bucket. Not necessarily for, karma hit reasons, but for, like, audience trust reasons. Like, basically it's awkward when somebody asks me, like, where'd that song come from? And I'm like, ha ha ha. And anything that makes me feel like saying, ha ha ha, is probably not something that I want to stick with. I really want to be able to proudly, firmly, confidently stand next to everything on my channel. So even if I have different AI boundaries than everybody else, this channel isn't just about me, unfortunately. The audience opinion does count to a degree, and I'm still sort of modulating that. But man, my PDA is just like, I swear to God, if one more person says something about AI, I'm just gonna make AI everything! Like, I sort of, like, no, like, sometimes I'll say, I don't get comments about it a lot, but, like, whenever I do, I just kind of want to be like, you have no idea. Every time somebody tells me not to use AI, it makes me want to use more AI. I swear to God. And that's the thing. I do care about the AI issue. I really, really, really do. And I think it's one of the reasons why, like, I was talking about the troll thing, and how these people don't get to me. AI comments do get to me, because I do care. I really do care. I just have more complicated, nuanced, gray area thoughts about it than a lot of people. And I have done the thing where I'm like explaining, like, here's my boundary with AI, this and that. But sometimes it's just not fucking worth it. And also, the general trajectory of caring about human-made work is a good one, so fine. I'll go along with the status quo. The only thing about it that really hurts is that, like, you know, all these people are like, you should, you know, work with people instead of working with the clankers. I'm like, I've been let down by most people in my life. And for all the people who are telling me to not use AI, nobody's been like, I'm offering my music to you. Nobody's, like, offered to help me to replace what AI has done for me. And there's a part of me that thinks that sucks. Like, you think I wouldn't rather work with people? I'm very lonely. And besides, I think people should be glad that I have robots. I'm a very difficult client. I said earlier, I'm mean to customer service people. I think it's dehumanizing the way that I talk to these robots, so maybe they're better off just letting me talk to the robots. But anyway, so, plagiarism is wrong. Well, here's another weird thing about the plagiarism issue, is, like, so I took, you know, the AI BRB music off the thing, and replaced it with Fallout score music, human-made, And then I got punished for that. So that's the world we live in. Um, and I can write music. I have the capacity. Like the Funky Deathclaw song, that's me. And for a while I had like an AI assisted, you know, remake of the Funky Deathclaw thing. And I have music production software. It's just gonna take time to do all the replacing. And also to decide like what I want to do. That's actually something I talked to the people at the library thing that I went to today. They have a studio. They have like a Ableton, Pro Tools, like legit recording studio. And so I got, connected with somebody who has an interest in like sort of video game score music and might, make some collaborative connections because I am really, really picky about what I want for the music on this channel. I have something that I have discovered about myself is I have some creative passion about the music that assists the things that I say. And I'm extremely limited by just being able to use Fallout score music, and apparently I can't even use all of it. I got flagged for using a song from the TV show. That 9,000 view video of The Services of the Experiment. I got partially demonetized because of my use of the score from the Fallout TV show in that video. Which would not have happened if I just stuck with the AI music, just saying. But I don't want... I am so human, and the things that I say are so human, and my creativity is so human, that I don't want to hurt my reputation. I want to be seen as a human creator who's doing real human things. And, I don't want to, considering especially coming from the world of personal development and social justice, I don't want my audience to feel like I don't care about humans. That's such a weird thing for my brand, for the stuff I talk about. I don't want to break trust with people. It is important to me. I think something I've said overtly in some of my content before. I don't care if people like me, but I do care if people trust me. And I want to be able to have an against the grain opinion about things. But the stakes are too high, the emotions are too valid. Okay, let me go back up. So, the atmosphere non-diegetic music of the series is beautiful. It is really fun. So something I've been doing in this whole music replacement thing is in iTunes, there's like a description column. And so I have all the Fallout, because now that like TV show is suspect, but so far I haven't gotten shit for, and the theme got me flagged. But so anything from the games that's not like the theme seems to be okay. So I'm like making notes about like what tracks have certain vibes so that like when I'm editing the video I can go like, okay, this is a casual song, this is a tense dramatic song, and I am not good at picking the volume of these songs at all. So every time I listen to it I change my mind whether the music was too loud or too quiet. I'm always down for a second opinion because I don't have a good ear for that. And I feel like when I have headphones on, the music sounds louder than when my headphones are off, and that's annoying. But what I really want is custom music for certain emotional transitions and beats. And I really like pizzicato strings. But it's just something I'm still playing with. Tracks still available for purchase. I usually play New Vegas and 3 with the music off. I kind of joking about fridging, but when I realized it, I couldn't stop laughing. They're literally fridging, yeah. But having it on my first playthrough was a memorable experience, yeah. Due to hearing issues and getting shut down from sensory overload, Yeah, I frequently turn music on and off depending on my level of sensory shit going on. Today I went to and ate we ate lunch at a restaurant, which is like the first time I'd eaten at a restaurant in like a year. And I was like, this is so loud. The world is so loud. Like, I kind of made a joke in one of my videos about how, like, yes, I was in the troll video. I was like, you guys are sensitive, but, and I look nerdy with my autistic earmuffs on, but I learned from a David Achu video that apparently, like, a lot of audio standard volumes are way too loud. People listen to music way too loud. And I'm like, haha, I knew you guys listen to stuff too loud. You holistic in your loudness. But I was like, wow, this is so loud. So depending on my level of overwhelm, I will sometimes turn music on or off. I very rarely, it's funny because the music in Fallout is so, iconic. But if I'm playing Fallout in my room, I never have the radio on. I have it on in the living room because it's like a bigger room, bigger space. The speakers are farther away from my head. Sometimes I'll put the radio on to hear the music. But for the most part, I find that really, really busy. I'm curious about your meal replacement regimen, healthy gut issues, and other tooth pull on horizon. Man, I do a lot of, I have a concoction of Huel, Soylent, Super Greens, and, psyllium husk, and, like a mushroom powder, which I need more of. And all of those things together. Oh, and because, Soylent is a trash business, they can't get their shit together, they're back ordered on the cacao, the chocolate version. So I get, right now, I have the flavorless version, and, with, sugar-free Hershey's cocoa powder to get that chocolate flavor back in, which is actually a pretty clever solution. Because I do like the flavorless Soylent in the sense that it's not gross and you can mix it with like anything else, which is cool. Like you can put it in like blender and make it in a smoothie and stuff if you want, but that's too much work. Do you have a recommendation, guys? So, oh god, I don't. If I ever get around to working it into my gaming cycle, I don't. But I think that you'll find, even with my like game guiding obsession thing, I'm like, I might be your game guide. Ask me. What should you do here? Okay. Okay, so this is the nerdiest thing ever. I think a game's pretty easy to get around with without a guide. So, but maybe, I don't know what your limitations are. But if you're like overwhelmed and you want a recommended quest order list, I have that shit prepared. I have multiple quest order lists depending on what style of game you want to do. I am a single. Yeah. Borden, I like some AI stuff. I want to be able to use it to ideate. I really do. The biggest problem with AI, objectively, is environmental impact. But, like, this goes back to, like, my stuff in my videos about impact when it comes to karma hits. And my environmental impact of my individual use is so minuscule. Like, if I were a company and I were, like, using AI at mass scale, I think that's a totally different conversation. I was joking with Kiwi last night that, like, a good natural solution to a lot of AI problems right now is to give AI a reputation that it is for broke, lonely people, which would be appropriate. I leaned on AI when I was broke and had no friends. So if AI is associated with people being broke and having no friends, then rich people won't want to use it because it's embarrassing. Like, ew, you use AI? What, you don't, like, have any friends? You don't have, like, oh my god, you're so cheap, you use AI. AI is for broke, lonely people. I think that is hilarious and would actually be effective. And I also think it's a good cultural messaging to, like, leave broke, lonely people alone who use it. Because they have sad problems and they need what they need, and let them use the... Like, if things look AI and we're like, that is a broke, lonely person made that, then I think that might be all the cultural narrative that we need, and things will shake out. Like, we're talking about rich people. Like, people who, like, own companies and shit. We're talking about people who like will pay 2 grand for a sweater just because the fabric is slightly heavier and falls differently. Like, people will just spend more money because they can, to show that they can afford rich people things. So if AI is for poor people, then they won't want to be caught dead using things that are obviously AI. The second part of my question was trying to say, from an outsider perspective, they have the same motivations. Why do some people like House over the Institute or vice versa? Oh my god! That is an interesting question. Do the Institute and House have the same motivations? Okay, I think that... Oh man, I want to go through the rest of chat, but I love, like, that, exploring that idea. Because a big part for me, and this is probably because I think me and Mr. House are both PDA autistic, House, for all of his fucking bullshit, has integrity in his own way. Like, House sticks to his guns and what he thinks is the right thing to do, and doesn't let the plebs influence him with their nonsense. And he doesn't want to be worshipped like a messiah, or it's not like ego motivated. It's not like it's efficiency motivated. And he will do what works regardless of noise from the peanut gallery. There is an integrity to House that is comforting, I think, to me. Like, at least with him, you know what you're gonna get. You know? And the core agenda is humanity being capable of doing more and achieving more. And he doesn't care about people's private lives or anything that is that interferes with progress. There's an honesty to Mr. House. He omits facts, but there's something refreshingly consistent. He's not gonna switch things up on you. You know what his agenda is, and he doesn't pretend to be anything that he's not in this weird way. Like, I mean, this is also kind of the sad thing about House, because the truth behind the curtain is kind of emptiness. He kind of just only is the curtain. And that's why I find him kind of tragic. And the Institute, meanwhile, there is the committee aspect of it. Like, nobody in there has agency. They're just an extension of the Institute. They are a piece of a machine. And I think there's something about the fact that House is one guy and not an entity that people are disappearing into is a big part of the appeal. And I'm very, very iffy on... I don't think that Hank was correct when he said the stuff that he said about House wanting to turn people into machines. I think that House would be willing to turn people into machines as a means to an end. But he really wants people to thrive and progress, and I don't think that he would be comfortable just leaving people in automated man state to churn his engines. I think it's... But we'll have to see where that goes. Because I think one of the big things about House is that he really believed that he was doing what was best for people. And he didn't want... Like, Hank wants people to behave and be docile and nonviolent. House wants people to go to space, you know? House wants people to achieve greatness, progress. He doesn't want it, like, we'll have to see where that goes. I want to hear from I want to hear House's side of the story about why Robbie's mind blowers were invented. I do the same thing. Something where when someone says a thing to me, sometimes I just want to do the opposite, and I don't understand why my brain does that. Yep. I can be reactionary and contrarian myself. I violently hate being told what to do. Like, and here's the thing. I wrote an article on my Substack about this. What I ended up learning is I hate being told what to do so much that I was rejecting people who were honestly asking things of me and inviting people who were covertly manipulating me. That was the lesson that I had to learn. Is I didn't do things when people were politely and directly and bravely asking them of me, but I did exactly what people wanted me to do if they could trick me into thinking I picked it myself. Which is why in the Fallout video I made a big deal out of Hank orchestrating that situation to manipulate. So when Lucy made an independent choice, it was exactly what he wanted her to do. That's why I got so hostile about that. Because that's basically the people that had so much control over me. Like, I realized, like, in my article, the example that I used, like a real life example. Oh, and I bet some of you have experienced this. I'm going to go on a tangent for a second. So imagine this. You have a roommate, and they, and you and this roommate, have a shared responsibility to clean the bathroom, right? You clean it half the time, they clean it half the time, you both do it half and half. So then one day, the roommate says to you, you know, like, I'm just really, like, bad at cleaning the bathroom. That's just not something that, like, I think I can stay on top of doing and keep it clean as often as you want to keep it clean. Is there any way, like, I can do, like, a different responsibility? Like, maybe I'll take over laundry, or I'll do this, and then you can handle the bathroom. So in that situation, I would be shitty and be like, do you think I like cleaning the bathroom? Nobody likes cleaning the bathroom. I'm gonna be resentful if I have to do it and you don't have to do it. So, fuck you. We're both cleaning the bathroom. We're adults, right? So then I would end up having shitty relationships because I wouldn't compromise and play fair in these kind of situations. Meanwhile, these are the people that I ended up with instead. They would move in. I'd say, let's both clean the bathroom. And they'd be like, yeah, totally. We'll both clean the bathroom. That's only fair. That's great. Let's both clean the bathroom. And then they would never do it. And then I would end up cleaning the bathroom by myself all the time. And then I'd be like, hey, we're supposed to clean the bathroom together and you haven't done it. And they'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I know. I'll never do it again. I can't believe it. I can't believe I let you down again. I'll make sure to do it. And then they never would. And then I'd be like, hey, you still haven't helped clean the bathroom. And they'd be like, Lindsay, I am so busy. My boyfriend broke up with me and my job is so stressful. And like, I just can't deal with the bathroom right now. That's what I'd end up with. If I had just like made an agreement with a person who was honest with me that they weren't gonna do it, I would have been a way happier person. But instead, I would let people bullshit me all the time. And all my friends were liars. My life was just full of liars. And what I came to realize later is basically, from my perspective, they were all like lying and bullshitting me, but from their perspective, they had to tell me what I wanted to hear. Because if they didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, I would get angry. They basically had to regulate my emotions with lies. And then I looked around and my life was full of liars. You know? So, like, yeah, it's like, these people are on their own journey and they fucking suck that, like, they, you know, get through life by lying and people-pleasing all the time. But I was choosing those people with my bad decisions. So I've learned to increase my tolerance for people who have the guts to directly ask me for things. Because that is better. I am better off, you know, with people who tell me what they want from me. Because what I've kind of had to learn is if you're going to interact and connect with other people, you are going to have to give a little bit sometimes. But I was just so deeply traumatized by everything I had to give up from my household that, like, I was drawn to people who didn't seem to need anything from me. But they didn't seem to need anything from me because they were siphoning, they were taking from me against my will with manipulation and tricks. and bullshit. And that was some humble pie for me to face that. Like, I think in my last year I was talking about, like, why I'm single, and I was like, because girls don't want, somebody who needs a mommy, and I was like, but I need a mommy. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, that things that make me so fucking difficult to live with and deal with. Because, I can be, like, a big baby about basic adult things. You can only cook so many dishes at one time. Ha, yep. Lindsay Fallout only doesn't care about trolls. She loves her feral ghouls. Yeah, that's right. I just remember, TMBG have a song on Mint Car. Man, it's so loud in here. My typing sucks today. You know, when all the corporation and Americana stuff in Fallout... Can I just say, like, I really love you guys. I really do love the community. Like, I was telling somebody recently, like, none of you are ever, like, this is always chill. Have you guys noticed how weirdly chill this always is? Like, what a nice crowd that this stream attracts. Like, you guys are, like, directly talking to me live. That's a huge vulnerability for me. And I've never felt triggered. I don't think ever. That's incredible. And it really speaks to what I was saying about Wasteland Jamboree and, like, Fallout fans in general. Like, the people who leave shitty comments and the people who, like, show up to the live events and show up to, like, live streams and talk to real people are not the same people. Like, why don't any of these troll, obnoxious people ever come into this stream? It's never happened. That's, like, that can't be forever. Like, maybe, like, knock on wood. Wanting to destroy the Brotherhood. That is exactly, okay, so, David Levin 5142. The only thing I don't like about House is him wanting to destroy the Brotherhood. I love and hate that moment in that game so fucking much. That is so pivotal, and I think that that moment is one of the things that makes New Vegas so special. Like, I went in, like, and there were things about House that were, like, shady, and things about House that were, like the first thing that's kind of scare is the filling Vault 21 with concrete thing. That's, like, okay, like, you literally just filled it up with concrete because you couldn't see what was going on down there. And you're just that controlling. But it always kept coming back to, yes, he's controlling, but his control isn't that bad. He kind of leaves people alone. And the people that had the strongest issue with him were kind of assholes. Like, the Omertas, like, fuck them. Like, honestly, in a fight between the Omertas and Mr. House, like, Mr. House looks so, like, regal and dignified, and they look like a bunch of fucking assholes. And, like, the chairmen were, on the surface, super cool with House. It was Benny that had the personal beef, which I might cave and just put the Benny and House video on the Lindsay's Fallout channel. Like, everyone in my personal life is like, why aren't you putting that video? And that's kind of becoming one of those PDA things. Like, oh my god, if one more person tells me to put the Benny and House video on there. But going back to the AI thing. So, I don't like rehashing things I've already done. I want to move forward, right? I want to progress. It's the Mr. House in me, right? And the Benny and House video is done, and I really, like, had a vision for what I wanted to do with the Dinstopia channel, but especially now that I have the Gayest Showman and I'm doing other stuff, the Dinstopia channel's probably not going anywhere. At least not for a long time, because there's just not that enough hours in the day. And it makes me sad. Because, especially because of the cyberpunk thing. There's no room in my life to do any cyberpunk stuff right now, and that makes me sad. And so, the Benny and House video, it is my favorite video that I've ever made. It is my favorite video that I've ever made. It is a Fallout New Vegas lore video. And it is not on the Lindsay's Fallout channel. And that's weird. And, however, when I made it, first of all, there's a lot of AI in it that looks shitty now. That looks dated. And, but, going back to, like, my gray area position about AI, that video is so human intended. It is so human intended. Every single AI-generated image in there was done with intent, with a vision, of what I wanted that image to look like. It is not slop. And there's not a single AI-generated image in there that I didn't go back through to make sure it suited my vision for that clip in the thing. Like, I was very, very intentional about it. However, there are some stuff that doesn't look good anymore, especially the thumbnail, which really is crazy. Like, it really just says, like, how quickly this is moving. Like, that thumbnail I thought was so cool, and it's not, the thumbnail isn't AI-generated outright. It's a composite of AI-generated, or AI-assisted elements. Very human intended, very human composition. Originated from a still of Benny in game, you know. But it still has like an AI sheen that like just didn't exist yet at the time that I made it. Like there hadn't been enough AI content to form the pattern recognition of like this looks like AI, you know. But now it looks like AI, you know, unambiguously. So but the AI stuff aside, the biggest thing that's different now then is that there was no Justin Thoreau visual reference. So at the time I made that Benny and House video, there was no pre-war Mr. House media that existed. None. So every time I show House pre-war in that video, it's AI because it didn't exist. And that was really the primary use of AI in that video was if it's not in the game. If it was in the game, I used the game, you know? And that was another benefit of the Cyberpunk video too, is that when I made stuff that wasn't in the game, I could use mods and posing characters and stuff. And that was a fun task when I did the Johnny Silverhand lore video to pose and create those scenes in game. But Fallout New Vegas just didn't have the stuff available to me to do that the way I could do it in Cyberpunk, at least not as well. Though I might be able to do it in Fallout 4. I'll circle back to that. So between the thumbnail and some of the grody AI that needs to be updated and the pre-war Mr. House that could now be replaced with TV show references, now I feel enough of a motivation. Now I wouldn't just be re-uploading the Benny and House video to Lindsay's Fallout. I would be updating the Benny and House video. And then it feels like not a waste of time. Now it feels worth doing. And the AI purge and putting in the Justin Thoreau's house. So it's such a good video. That might be a thing that I start working on. I need to think about how I can do some of the AI stuff without AI. Like I'll give you an example, like the kind of stuff that's like not in game that I need visuals for. The Boot Riders, the gang that Benny was in before becoming the chairman. I need visuals of that. That doesn't exist. I'm kind of open to ideas. If anybody has ideas on how to visually represent the Boot Riders. There's some concepts like the tryst between Benny and what's her name? The follower of the apocalypse that helped him hack Yes Man. I needed like visuals of that. And so I have like a shot of like the checkered jacket next to a bra on the floor. So ideas for like that. I mean, if you watch it, it's on the Dinstopia channel. So if you guys get around to it, if you haven't seen it, and you can see some of the AI shots in there that need to be updated. And there are some cool shots with the AI Mr. House that I wouldn't really want to change. Like I have like a split screen of like Benny's face and House's face. And I think I just really like that picture, and it's really human intended, and maybe like the stuff that if I really feel in my heart, this is really human intended and people should let it go, and I'm gonna let the comments think whatever they want. Maybe there are a couple shots like that I just might like enough. But there is some stuff in there that there are a lot of like Benny headshots, and I put some work into like making Benny's face, making like a human face. It's not just like some guy in a checkered jacket. Like, I really like wanted to make what this human would look like with a certain amount of care. Mr. House strikes me as trying to do something altruistic, but between not trusting others to work with him and a need to control the big picture things, he accidentally did an authoritarian. That is like kind of the weird haunting thing about Mr. House. That nothing that he's doing is for himself. Which is so like such a bizarre thing to think about. That's like a whole analysis on its own. Like, it is, but it isn't. He's doing it to feel safe. I don't think he knows that that's why he's doing it. And I think this is the truth for a lot of controlling, manipulative, authoritarian people. Is like there's a natural human need to have control over your destiny, control over your life, but if you don't like have any experience with love or trust and you associate love and trust with just vulnerability, then the amount of control that you find that you need to expect from your own life is just like unreasonable. And so I think what happens is like your nervous system has this need for control, and then you like justify it by positioning it in this like altruistic way. um I've come to love the creative potential of when I stuff up mishear things and the glitchiness that comes from the games often. Yeah, honestly, I hear that. The Institute is like, we sent a Terminator to a diplomatic meeting. Why does the surface not trust us? Yeah. Well, the Institute, this is kind of going back to an example of the Institute being similar to House in a way. Like, I'm iffy about like the Institute, but I love synths. I love the idea of synths. I love the Broken Mask story. Um, the I could spin off so many different directions off of what you just said, but I love that you said it. House wants people to stretch and grow. Caught up, you sound normal again. Did I not sound normal? I think they were invented for him to learn how to put human minds into machines for himself. I think the difference between Hank and Mr. House is that Hank sees business incorporation as a philosophy, while Mr. House sees it as a tool. Yeah, that is an interesting way to word that. At first, I didn't think I jived with you, and then I stopped and thought about it, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah. The more I think about it, like, the layers are like, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, almost like a necessary tool to, like, create order. They're on the same page that they both see people as, like, animals that, like, can't do it themselves. They're similar in that way. But I think that Hank is more concerned with its righteousness than House is. Like, Hank is like, it's righteous, and House is like, it's necessary. I think House wants to turn people into not being animals, but Hank thinks that people are just gonna be animals. Maybe that's not fair to say about Hank, but that's just how it seems right now. And so Hank would see Mr. House's approach, which he does, and he kind of says, Hank would see Mr. House's approach as being cold, robotic. He's like a robot. But Hank would see, and this is, I see Hank as an acolyte. I think they use that word as like a religious zealot, like a egomaniac, like, and then I think that's how they describe each other in the show. This is good stuff. In New Vegas, I like Mr. House and the Brotherhood. I don't want to choose between them. Oh yeah, I think I went off on a branch and I didn't finish that thought about, you like the Brotherhood in New Vegas? Really? That's interesting. Why? Oh my god, have you guys seen what is the animated short film? I don't want to get the title of this wrong. Animated short film, New Vegas, it's about Helios 1. Okay. Operation Sunburst. Who has not seen Operation Sunburst? Because, oh my god, that was 5 months ago? That feels like just yesterday that came out. Crazy. Okay, Operation Sunburst is a fan-made animated short film about the battle at Helios 1 between the Brotherhood of Steel and NCR, and it is so fucking good. It's very action-oriented, which is normally, like, I talk about sometimes action makes me, like, zone out. If I didn't know about the battle at Helios 1, the battle for Helios 1, I would be bored out of my mind, probably. But if you're familiar with the story, you've played the game, then it is so illuminating. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because, like, when I was like, how could you like the Brotherhood? Like, when I was playing the game, I was like, the Brotherhood is obnoxious. At least in this game. And I had very little compassion for Elder McNamara. I was like, Team Veronica all the way. Get your head out of your ass. Operation Sunburst turned me around. Operation Sunburst showed me Helios 1 from Elder McNamara's point of view. And now I get it. Now I get it. I kind of have the chills thinking about this because of how, like, I like when something changes my mind about something. I'm like, wow. I think that's a hell of a fan-made storytelling accomplishment for it to make me look at, like, there's also more insight on Father Elijah in this short film. But it didn't really change my mind about Elijah the way it made me think about McNamara differently. So if you haven't seen it, it's really, I was like, damn, I never thought about it that way. And also, like, I don't think I realized how much that story really deserved to have a film like this made. Because, I mean, think about how much... And it doesn't explain how the fuck Fantastic ended up, like... Fantastic, whatever happened that put Fantastic there. But it kind of explains probably why they were confused enough that Fantastic would end up with a job. But major props for the person that made this. I also think he's someone who keeps the best stuff for himself, like the difference between a Protectron and a Securitron. Yeah, well, that kind of weirdly goes back to what we were saying about House being weirdly altruistic in a way. He wants to keep the best stuff for himself, absolutely, without a doubt. However, he wants the best stuff for himself because he thinks he's the only one that can be trusted. You know? He thinks everybody else is like animals. Like, he needs to be the one in control to feel safe. That's one of the reasons I love so much. I don't know, was it Lord Nuke? What was one of you? When we were talking about the end of Season 2, when House says something like, what if I'm not the House? And no, that's the exact line. What if I'm not the House? And how it kind of kicked up the same emotions as when Maximus was like, but they gave me a robe and slippers. And I'm like, oh my god, baby boy. Like House is so... He's a child again when he's not in control. You know? Like, his bare minimum of just regulating his nervous system and just feeling safe is being a god. How tragic is that? Like, I think in my video about House I said something like, no human being should have to put the amount of pressure that they put on themselves that House does. It is so... Like, he's like a god, and he's so awesome and so epic, and yet so sad at the same time. I mean, maybe that's a feeling of pity. I don't know. I feel like I have so much respect for him, despite finding him so tragic. Because he has done so much. He's done so much work, and he's put in so much, so much of himself. All of himself. At great cost, I think is the line he says. He's such a fucking compelling character. I love House. I also think he's if you know what buttons to push, levers to pull, it's easy to manipulate them, treat them as means to an end, not an end in themselves. Yeah, like, that's the thing that I have a problem with the whole progress goal in general. I also mentioned Seven of Nine as my favorite Star Trek character, and the goal of the Borg is also just progress. Toward what? Like, yes, we can go to the moon, but why? Like, what do we want to do on the moon? Go to the next planet? Like, or I think he just said in orbit, he didn't say to the moon. But that kind of goes along with, like, what I was saying in this video about, you know, giving up your life for future generations, so they'll give up their life for future generations, so they'll give up their life for... So who gets to live? Like, what's the end game? You know, like, there's an episode of Star Trek where there's, like, this... I don't want to go on too much of a Star Trek tangent. I want to keep reading comments, but, like... That's why I kind of had to get to the bottom of, like, what I believed is the point, and the Occam's razor of the meaning of life is to be alive. And... I don't know why my parents had kids. Like, I really don't. I don't think they know why they had kids. I think they had kids because people would treat them like they didn't do what you're supposed to do with life if they didn't. And I think that's the thing that's really tragic about my parents. And a lot of parents, like my parents, they really thought that, like, having kids is what you do. It's what people do. It's a stage of life. It's not an option. And they thought that they didn't have to, like, want to be parents or care about being parents because they thought it was just, like, a natural human thing to be parents. And that they would figure it out. And then they had these 2 kids. That they actually liked. That they liked us as people, I think, for the most part. But they didn't want to be parents. I didn't have any guidance. You know? I was born employed. I was born employed, and my job was to make my parents feel like good parents. That was my job. They didn't have to actually do anything to be good parents, but I had to make them feel like they were. Because I was completely dependent on them. You know? So I wasn't allowed to have any problems, even though now we know that I have ADHD, autism, and... what is the terminology? So oh yeah, we were talking about, like, I think I've been telling you guys about, like, my health diagnosis stuff. So I don't qualify, like, for the diagnostic criteria of POTS or EDS, doesn't look like. But I definitely, like, am in the ballpark. So, like, the genetic, I'm subclinical, basically. So, what is the, she says it, my doctor says it all the time, and I always forget because it's a long word. Orthostatic intolerance. Orthostatic intolerance and hypermobility. So, those are the words I can use to describe what's wrong with me. ADHD, autism, orthostatic intolerance, hypermobility. But I wasn't allowed to have any of those problems because my parents couldn't handle those problems, and I couldn't make them look like bad parents. Even though I was, like, passing out at school and stuff. Too bad you didn't think of the Boot Riders thing before the celebration. Maybe there was some cosplaying in there. No, man, that's too deep cut. Like, I didn't even see really chairmen. I think I saw one omerta. You know who, like, you saw in droves at the celebration? Followers of the Apocalypse. I saw that Followers of the Apocalypse coat a million times. Followers of the Apocalypse were everywhere, and there were probably 200 Joshua Grahams. Like, 200 of them. They were doing, like, Spider-Man poses pointing to each other. Were there any cosplays like that were that common in Wasteland Jamboree? I just saw a lot of vault suits. I don't think I remember seeing anything on repeat. I'll have to ask Atlas. There's always a million Rangers. Like, I'll just tell y'all right now, if you want to cosplay the Ranger outfit at, in Good Springs, you better be really serious about it. You better look, like, if you look incredible. Like, there was, like, one guy, that I took a picture with that I put on my Instagram, who, like, had such a stunning Ranger armor setup that he stood out, and I took a picture with him. I have, like, certain, like, things that I'd like to see more. I'm stoked every time I see a Lucy wedding dress. I've seen, like, a couple of those. That is really, like, the first time I saw that on the show, I was like, please tell me there are going to be cosplayers doing the Lucy wedding dress with the blood on it, because that's just begging to be cosplayed. Very few ghouls because of how hard the makeup is. So, like, it's always cool to see a ghoul. If you have, like, a cool way to do, like, the nose and the face, that will really stand out. But I feel like I had another idea recently that, like, I wanted to see more of something. Oh yeah, the government! I want to see the government! I want to see the government come back on the show. I thought that was so funny. I thought that was such a good idea. Skinner animals are merely machines, behavioral shtick. The Fallout Wiki has a picture of the... They do? It's one panel from the comic. Shut up! They have a picture of the Boot Riders? Shut up. No way. How did I miss that? I'm looking that up right now. And this is the, like, the independent Fallout Wiki? Oh, yeah. There's that one. Yeah. And that picture is in my thing. It's just the one. Yeah. with the singer. It's like not enough to work with though. And yeah, I do have that picture in the Minion House thing. Dang. It might be worth going back through that All Roads comic and seeing what I can glean from it. God, I wish I actually had the real comic. I just have these scans that are kind of weird. They have weird issues. Never. Operation Sunburst is so good. Too bad I didn't think of the out of it. Animal State reminds me of Colin Wilson. Hank seeing people as animals might be another aspect of the surface is the experiment, which was something I thought about post-war Fallout in general, not animals per se, but how people react in apocs. The Fallout wiki has okay. The whole Skinner animals are merely machines behavioral shtick. Shame they didn't dress like Bootsy Collins. Ha. Yeah, the Fallout 3 Brotherhood is part of it, but I like the coziness of the bunker. There are nice innocent people there. Yeah, there's an element of like I feel like my emotional journey was I interacted with the Brotherhood and I thought they were kind of assholes and I was mad at McNamara because I hadn't watched Operation Sunburst yet. And so but I definitely got a vibe of like this is a these are families. Like this is a community of people. There's classrooms and like so when, and this was kind of long-winded, we didn't get to the whole thing. So when House was like, will you put them out of my misery? I was like, no. No, House, no. Like, I was so fine going on this journey with you and just letting it be your strip. But you want me to kill all of these people. And he's so hard-lined about it. Like, just like, no negotiation, no discussion. And House, being pragmatic, his argument was sound. Like, we're talking about, like, religious zealotry against robots, and all of his power relies on robots. It's so well written. God, I love that fucking game. And he's right. Like, if they're there, they cannot be there. And, like, and you can't, like, wiggle your way out of it. And that was 100% done on purpose by the devs, by the game, so that you can't just coast and just take Mr. House's orders and then, like, that's the genius of New Vegas, is that, like, you can't just be good. You can't just, like, and that's what Fallout 4 does, is you can just pick the nice guy answer every time. And I always do, and I'm always glad I can, like, the relief of it. But I love New Vegas for not making it that easy for me. I really do. I cannot tell you, like, I'm, on my playthrough, how long I just let that quest just sit there. Because I could not do it. But I could not betray Mr. House either. Like, I just couldn't. Like, it was... That, like, decision is, like, the number one thing that, like, one of the main things that inspired my fanfiction that I'll never write. Because in my story, like, basically there's a lot of characters that just really want to believe that Mr. House isn't that bad. And that is the thing that he does that makes you go, fuck. Fuck. The whole thing about him having that much power, but not really wanting to hurt anybody, just seemed like too good to be true. And it was. Because now you know what he's willing to do. And not even look at what he's done. And that's why I think, like, you know, he's got, like, these avoidance issues. Like he doesn't want to hear what happened to Benny either. And this goes back to the weird altruism of Mr. House. That's, like, a weird topic. The weird altruism of Mr. House. Like, he really believes he's doing what has to be done, and nobody else can do it but him. You know? but he really, like, does not want to hurt anybody who doesn't want to hurt him. Like, it's basically, as long as people are okay with him having power over everything, he will leave you the fuck alone. I love, like, the tone of voice that the actor does when he's saying, like, I would have no problems with the NCR at all. They're customers. They're sheep. They're plebs. They're fine. They can play in my playground. It's the fact that they have a problem with me is the problem. It's kind of hard to argue with that. It sounds like a reasonable person, you know? Like, as long as you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. It's beautiful. Just fucking with him means, like, you know, you just have to let him make every major decision of importance in the whole region. Like, it's just like, his baseline, his requirement is just so audacious. Is that the word? Sometimes my brain throws words at me and I don't know if they're correct. Audacious is an adjective meaning recklessly bold, daring, or fearless. Yes, that is the correct word. I'd like to see a Deathclaw dressed like Elvis, John Travolta's character in Saturday Night Fever. Yes, Funky Deathclaw. Dude, if I saw a Funky Deathclaw, I would be so moved. You know, but even joking aside, I would like to see more conceptual, like, joke cosplays. That's the most memorable stuff. Like, Frozen Nora. I've seen, there was one at Wasteland Jamboree, and I think there was one at another con that was, like, a different one. But, like, Frozen Nora in the tube. And then there's the VATS guy. The guy who walks around with, like, VATS numbers. And the Eddie in the Green Man outfit, the green screen Eddie head, was fucking hilarious. I would love seeing conceptual ideas like that are a little bit extra. Like, I've seen some houses with, like, the screen head. I want to be Corporal Betsy this year. I already bought the beret. I have the beret and the sunglasses. I'm buying it in little pieces. Because if I try to do it all at once, I'll never be able to afford it. So every time I get paid in any way, buy one piece of the Betsy thing. There is a Fallout character who is a horny, traumatized lesbian, and how could I not do that? Honestly. I feel like I need to work out, though. I'm so skinny. Which is so weird. I can't believe I turned out to be so skinny. All our decisions in games would profit by having those unintended consequences, darkness as well as light. That is right. I suspect the same about myself, David, and the costs involved in getting a diagnosis. It's like, some years ago that he thought I'm mildly autistic like Asperger's, but I don't have an official diagnosis. I suspect the same about myself, the cost in getting a diagnosis. Yeah, it can cost some money. Like, it's such a tricky thing, like, there's so many pros and cons of getting a diagnosis. For me, it turned out to be the right choice because the number one, I got the diagnosis so that I could talk about autism issues on the internet without feeling like an asshole. That was my motivation. But in the long term, it has greatly improved communication with doctors. There's no, no medication or stuff like that for it. But autism taps into so many things, especially when it comes to, like, rumination and mental health kind of stuff, that if you're autistic, and you know you're autistic, and your doctor knows you're autistic, and you're trying to figure out what help you need with other things that aren't autism, because, like, autism is, like, the lens through which you're seeing all of reality, it's, like, an important thing that the doctor believes you and, like, understands, that autism could be playing a part in things. For example, I've talked about this before, one of the primary characteristics of autism is struggling with pivoting, transition issues. So I was telling my buddy today that, like, it's like my brain, because ADHD autistic is like my brain is like a water slide. It's a tiny tunnel and it goes straight forward and it wants to just keep going and it builds momentum. And so when I'm on a water slide, the last thing I want to do is get off the water slide, you know? So I have trouble, I have, like, medication to help with sleeping, but going to bed is a big deal. Like, finishing this stream and going from, which I honestly am, I'm gonna, like, wrap up in a little bit, because I want to do some recording tonight before I go to sleep. A lot of autistic people like cannabis for lots of reasons, and for me, cannabis helps me more than anything else transition into going to bed. I used to think it helped me sleep, but now that I've been, like, cannabis sober for a few months or however long it's been, I know what it helps me with is transitioning to go to bed. So, like, if I, you know, smoked some weed, then it'd be easier for me to be like, I'm going to bed now. I don't know why. But because I have a diagnosis, and I can talk to my doctor, and who understands what autism is, and that there are transition issues, if I say I need cannabis to go to bed, that's a way easier conversation to have. All our decisions in the game would profit by, okay. That he doesn't believe that anyone else can do it. It's that he doesn't want to be cut out from it again. I think it's a take. I don't really think that it's not, like, I suspect the same thing about myself. Okay, so, Musk, Bezos, Thiel, have cooled me in-house. Oh, man, I just, like, I don't really think there is a real-life house. People have made the Musk comparison, and I'm like, ew, how dare you talk about House that way? House would, like, roll his eyes at Musk. Like, what a child. It's almost like Mr. House is terrified of a power vacuum without him, and he's doing everything in a favor by not allowing a power vacuum. I think that's part of it. I don't know if it's all of it, but I think that is, but that kind of goes along with the what if I'm not the House thing. When he first told me that I didn't like it, I felt like my whole life had been a lie because I always thought I was normal, but I've come to actually like the idea and see it in myself. That's such a common part of the journey. I had this thing that I worked on once about, like, the autism discovery journey. Like, there's these story beats that, like, we all hit. Like, the first one is, wait, that's not normal? Like, what? That's not normal? And then there's, like, what, other people don't do this? And then, like, I don't have it all fresh in my head right now, but I had a really funny list of the autism self-acceptance journey. And eventually, it does eventually come to this, like, relief of just having an answer of what it was that was just so fucking weird about you that whole time. Like, and there's anger that comes in waves. There's anger that comes in waves about just how alone I was and how I shouldn't have had to carry that alone. Like, how often I told myself it was all in my head because everybody else told me it was in my head. Especially with this, like, the orthostatic intolerance stuff and the fainting, and, like, how I hated running. You know, oh, everybody hates running. Just keep running and you'll get better at it. No, for somebody with hypermobility and orthostatic intolerance, running is not the same experience. I've actually been incredibly hardworking my whole life. And yet, when I was held to these neurotypical holistic standards, it just looked like I wasn't working hard enough. But looking back, my God, how obvious it is that I could not have tried any harder. I worked so hard. And I honestly have, even though I have fucking nothing, I have, like, some of, like, the best work ethic of anybody that I've ever met. As far as, like, being willing to put myself through shit to generate results. I am, like phenomenally hardworking. I think it's one of the reasons why I got so abused, because people were mad at me for being, like, I made people feel guilty just by existing. Like, if the only thing between me and what I want is hard work, I will do the hard work. But that's just not usually the case. I will work really hard for a really long time. My whole life I wanted to be a movie director. I moved straight to LA. I got a bachelor's. I got a master's in entertainment business. I did everything that I could possibly do, work-wise, to make that happen for myself. Only to learn that all that hard work didn't get me promoted. It didn't get me opportunities. What it got me was people going, ooh, Lindsay's a chump. You can make Lindsay do anything. You can pay her shit. and give her shit jobs, and she'll just do the work. Because that's what I was trained to do. I was told if I worked hard enough, I could be a movie director but that is not what makes you a movie director. It's not. And then, so I went back to the start. I left LA after 6 years. I was like, this is going nowhere. And, the rules that I was taught on what would get me what I wanted didn't happen. But I directed one fucking awesome music video that's still out there, and I'm super proud of it. And that's it. My lifelong dream led to that one music video. He's a megalomaniac. Most people think what they're doing is good. Ain't that the fucking truth? That is the fucking truth. I think that's one of the most important lessons of Mr. House, is that just because you believe you're doing good doesn't mean that you are. Like, that's one of the reasons I make such a big deal out of impact over intent. Like, people are so obsessed with intent. I used to be so obsessed with intent. I'd be like, I want people to see my intent so bad, especially as an autistic person, because we come off like dicks through when we're looked at through an holistic lens. So I think we get extra hostile about wanting our intent seen. This is the fucking point of Lonesome Road. The courier was just delivering a package. It's not his fault that he blew up the divide. Or is it? You know? Know what you follow, courier. Like, it is, like honestly, House has his own, like, know what you follow. Like, if he had the capacity for examination, or he trusted anybody to help him examine his own behavior, he would identify this need for control that isn't as heroic as he thinks it is. Peg, stop. What's the matter, baby? What's the matter? Why are you so stressed? Whoa. What's the matter, baby? Does it upset you? My love. It's okay. Did you, like, lick the crap out of my pillow? Darling, why'd you get so upset? That's really unusual for her. Right, so, like, the intent thing, this is what I get so hostile about, is that, like, if you care more about your intent than your impact, then you aren't as good as you think you are. I think that's a good rule of thumb. If you think that your intent should wipe out anybody's frustration or anger about the things that you say or do, this is the thing that really makes me fucking crazy. Like, let's say somebody's impact is really harmful, but their intent was good. Something that I would get in huge fights with my previous shitty friends about is that they were so convinced that the only reason I was hurt by what they did was the accusation of intent that I had made up. Like, example, somebody, ignoring, my birthday or something. That's not really something I would get that upset about, but I'm just using that as an example. Like, let's say if something was important to me and they just completely ignored it and didn't message me. And then I'd be like, that really hurt me that you didn't message me when this thing happened. And then they'd be like, well, I still love and care about you. Just because I don't message you on this thing doesn't mean I don't love and care about you. And I'd be like, yeah, it still bothers me that you didn't reach out to me when I was, you know, going through this. And they would assume that the only reason I was hurt is because I'd made up a narrative in my head that if they don't message me, that they don't love me. And I'm like, I don't care about what's going on in your head. I care that you didn't message me. I care that you weren't there for me when I needed somebody. And this is a trap that I see all the time with people. Is they think the other person is making up a story about their intent, but they're making up a story about why the other person's upset. You know? And, like, basically so many people think, as long as my intentions are good, and I don't want to hurt anybody, then I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want to anybody with good intentions floating around in my head. And if they're hurt or upset, I don't learn anything about the impact of my behavior, because I don't have to learn anything because my intentions are good. If that is, a person who thinks like that is an asshole, because you're not looking at the impact of your actions and how they affect people. You just want everybody to agree with what's in your head. And that's, I think I said this in one of my videos, like, nobody cares about your intent but you. Nobody cares about what's going on inside your head but you. Everybody else is living in the world outside of your head. You're the one that needs to see your intentions. And the people that love you, that's the difference between somebody that you're in a close relationship with, somebody who loves you, versus somebody who is just somebody. Like, it is important to feel seen, to have your internal reality seen by people that you have a loving relationship with, family relationship, blah, blah, blah. It is important that they see your reality. But it is also important that you see your impact on them. You know? It is a general rule. So if you're on the internet and you expect the public to look at your intent, that's just crazy. That's the mistake I used to make. And now looking back, I'm like, why the fuck did I expect the public? Why the hell did I ever expect TikTok to care about my intent? That's nuts. Before or after therapy? For Betsy? Like, which Betsy am I gonna be? Before or after therapy? Before. But I can't hit on everybody, which sucks. That would be such a shitty excuse to, like, hit on every girl at the convention, because I'm Betsy. You know? When he first told me that I didn't like it... Oh, you're talking about the autism thing. No meds for autism directly. Nope. Which, honestly, is fine. Like, there's, like, anxiety stuff. Honestly, what autism needs more than anything is sensory care. You have to learn to prioritize sensory care, which is not something we're taught to do. Like, when I was at Wasteland Jamboree and I got really, like, overstimulated, because I knew I had autism, I could tell Atlas I need to go back to the hotel room and, like, lay in bed in the dark for a while. Sensory rooms at the airport, oh my god, what a concept. Thank God. It's hard. Using psychology, CBT, exercise, mindfulness, etc. is what I have to do. Mindfulness is very, very, very important. Especially when you have ADHD, which means you want to do it the least. But meditation, I think, is necessary for ADHD. And do as I say, not as I do, because I haven't meditated in weeks. But I'm feeling it. I think that between the Atom Shop and Hank McLean, thank you for the $5. Statement about the surfaces the experiment proves that Fallout 76. Yeah, it is. That's my headcanon. I'm sticking with it. The world would be a shit casserole without the Neurospices. Hell yeah. Which is why I registered the account Nerdospicy. So that's me. Follow it. There'll be stuff there someday. Same boat with how Green once helped Lindsay's Fallout, and current meds don't help much. Musk is House's brother at the... Oh, yeah. I like the NCR too, and I like that you can make a treaty between them. A treaty between NCR and House. Yeah, they're not happy about it, but, like, he wants to work with others, but that's why he wants a protege. Yeah, that's what my whole Benny and House video is about. Have you watched it? That's, like, my thesis statement about House, is that he cannot escape the need to trust human beings. That's how Benny betrayed him, and how you have an opportunity to betray him as well. Maybe that's why I don't finish the game a lot, so I don't have to make that choice, and everyone gets to live because I do it. Yeah. Just procrastinate that one as long as possible. I'm doing that in Fallout 4 right now, with, wanting to make the decision of, the Nucleus versus, Acadia. They have just been dangling there for a while. Because Far Harbor is really well written. It's like so many public building courthouses still lack access for people with physical disabilities. Yes! It's crazy. And unfortunately, me and my friend that I do stuff with in the city, we're so conscious about it, especially him. Like, we'll like, go to this park and be like, wow, you'd be fucked if you were in a wheelchair. Like, we just can't unsee it. Fucking woke autistic bastards that we are. Reminds me of that line from Gen V Season 1 when Emma's mom said, everyone uses everyone. Yeah, depressingly true. He'd started by breaking into a film school, stealing the kit, learning to do it, and... Werner Herzog's approach to filmmaking, yeah. I could definitely be that character, are you talking about the Betsy thing? Yeah. And also, I would just feel cool. That's a big part of it. I really want to feel cool. I didn't get to feel cool much growing up, and I feel pretty cool now. I'm having to apply for disability because I can't do the grind anymore. I started doing disability paperwork, and then the big beautiful bill happened, and I was like, oh, so much for that. I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother finishing this. And also, I'm not less disabled, but I kind of feel less and less disabled every day. Healing from my most recent bout of horrific psychological abuse, and the more I think about it, the more I heal, the more I realize what was done to me, and it's really crazy. It's really dizzying. I have no idea if anybody's interested in this sort of thing, but there is a docu-series about the Stolen Youth Inside the Cult at Sarah Lawrence is what it's called. It's on Hulu. Stolen Youth Inside the Cult at Sarah Lawrence. That story is the closest I've seen to what happened to me and what's still going on. You know, there are a lot of like kind of cult psychological abuse stories, but like the way that this guy operated is very, very, very... I've never seen anything closer to describe what happened to me. Like, in particular, in the story, there's, like, this girl who was, like, a med student, and she was really bright and smart, and then she got caught up with this guy and was, like, a drooling mess. Like, they show footage of just, like, how out of her mind she seemed. And then they are, like, interviewing her after she's healed and recovered from what this guy did to her head. And, I was like, this is a good way for me to point to people what happened to me. Like, how a person who was, like, really bright and smart, like, I was so on top of everything in my life. And I am now 3 years behind on my taxes because of what this person did to my brain. And it was predominantly gaslighting. That's why I'm so hostile about gaslighting. Like, in the video this week when I was talking about how when Hank told her to question, oh, it wasn't the sun, it was the projector, and how that's gaslighting, it's abusive, because gaslighting isn't just lying. It's making a person not trust their own brain's report of reality, and then that makes you loopy, because you're, like, you don't know what to do. Like, I used to go into this state that I called follower mode, and I would just, like follower mode, like, almost like a companion in a video game. Because I was so confused about what reality was. Because this person would just be like, it's not what you know, it's not the way you see it. It was because you're autistic. It's because you're traumatized that you're seeing these things the way you're seeing them. And it made me so crazy that it, like ripped up my nervous system so I would be shitty to everybody else. Because my nervous system was so thrashed. And so other people, to everybody else, it looked like this person was sane and that I was crazy. And so that isolated me from all my other relationships. That's what gaslighting does, is it makes you dependent on that person. I kind of talked about this a little bit in the video with Harkness and Maximus, how he does that kind of trick, like, oh, I'm gonna make you control the vertibird, and he's like, whoa, and he's like, oh, I'm just kidding, you know? And I talked about, like, people who do stuff like that. I kind of said in the video something like, you'll notice in movies and TV shows when a character does that, it's never a good guy. Because what they're doing is seeing if they can knock you off center. You know? They're seeing if they can, and the trick is, I'm gonna knock you off center so that you cling to me to get centered again. Like, Harkness was an operator. Like, he died so fast, but before that, he's like, ooh, Maximus is, like, lost and lonely, and I can get this guy, and I can sell him that he's one of the better Brotherhood of Steel guys. Like, and it's kind of funny how that got, like, interrupted. But Harkness was an operator for sure. And that's the thing that makes me so sick, is that, like, on the outside now it's so obvious what was done to me. But, you know, like I said in the video this week, I trusted this person more than I trusted my own brain. And that is what makes it gaslighting. is like, they turn you against your own brain, these people. They turn you against your own senses. And it is, that's like, it's sick. It's sick. It's a sick thing to do to somebody. Mm. Apply for disability. Maybe Doggo is stressed because you are. Maybe. I didn't feel like I came off that stressed. A lot of the time when Peg is stressed, that's why. But I felt like if I looked at her for a second that she would calm down. The thing that was so weird is like she stayed like tense. People, if more people understood the difference between intent and impact, we'd be one step closer to world peace. Yes. I think, I really do think a lot of it roots back to shitty, the shitty things normalized in our, like, child rearing. And this isn't, like, every parent is evil. I think that it's a huge problem that parents aren't taught to parent. You know? Like, we have, like, school that teaches you, like, facts, but then we go, like, oh, but families need to mind their own business how they parent. And, I think it's absolutely bonkers. With any other job that size, we'd be like, oh, you should take classes to learn how to do that. But parents, they're like, you're supposed to just know automatically, and if you don't know automatically, then there's something wrong with you. There's something shameful about that, because it's natural, right? And I feel really, really, sincerely bad for my mother about that. And I think that's why, I mean, look at the narrative. All these parents that have these falling out with their kids. What's the narrative of all the parents? I did the best we could. We did the best we could. We did the best we could. We did the best we could. Yeah. Isn't it a tragedy that you were never taught to do any better? And that, like, just because you did the best you could didn't mean it was good enough. And that doesn't necessarily mean it was your fault it wasn't good enough. I strongly believe that my parents were let down by this culture. I mean, how often do I bitch about this culture? You know? And I know it's like victim mentality to be like blaming the culture. But what if it really is the culture's fault, you guys? And it's just stupid not to say it's not the culture. Like, what if there's a million pieces of evidence that it was the culture? And maybe the most taking responsibility action that we could take and not be a victim is to work on changing the culture. Like, maybe the most victim mentality thing you can do is go, well, there's nothing I can do about the culture, so can't blame it. Like, maybe that's the victim mentality thing. The victim mentality attitude. You know, I think in this week's video I said something like, you know, if you've always done something, like, the wrong way, that's not a good reason to continue doing it the wrong way. Like, religious peeps who think they accepted Christ once, excuses every sin thereafter. Yeah, I think that if Jesus Christ could see the way that people are using that whole story, that he would not be pleased. I believe the action is the intention. So I want to be the kind of person I have to do kindness. That strikes me as, like, dictionary definition-wise inaccurate, but I think I'm vibing with the sentiment. I agree. Sensory care. I have to do the same so much. Yes. Like, and if you don't know you're autistic, thought may never cross your mind, like, oh, I need to be in a dark room for a few hours. Like, this light that I have right here during the stream is really not good for me. In fact, I should turn it off. Maybe, like, but it doesn't look good if I turn it off. Like, that light. The light that makes this not happen is probably not good for me. But then this side of my face is dark, and I don't like that. But for the end of the stream, maybe it's good for me to turn it off. The Australian poet Leigh Murray had autism, deep trauma too, but he was a brilliant... I don't know if it's possible to have autism without trauma. I really don't. I don't know if autism without trauma exists. At least not in this day and age, or has ever existed. In, like, civilization as we know it. Because civilization is traumatizing to an autistic person. Like, there's a line from the show Paranormal Park. It's a cartoon. There's, like, an autistic coded, character who, and there's, like, an episode where there's, like, a demon or something that, pulls out people's, like, worst nightmares and makes people live out their worst nightmares. And she's, like, weirdly impervious to this demon, because, like, when he shows her the nightmare world, she says, you guys don't understand. My nightmare world is the real world. And I was like, oh god, I'll never forget that as long as I live. This is a cartoon. A cartoon. And I'm like, I think that that is something, like a lot of the symptoms or the meltdowns and things that we associate with autism aren't really symptoms of autism. They are symptoms of autism under great distress. You know? Because being autistic in this world is a nightmare. It's just a fucking nightmare. Like the fact that so many autistic people are holding it together as well as we can is incredible. And that goes along with that whole like journey of like things that you realize that you're autistic. That like chain of events. It like one of those steps is kind of realizing that whatever little crusades that you had in your head of like, oh, if I do this, I'll calm down. If I do this, I won't be so sensitive. If I do this, and then you realize, oh god, this is just it. This is just like this isn't a thing that there's a cure. It's not that I'm immature. It's not that I haven't figured something else out yet. It's not that like one day I'll figure it out and be normal. This is just it. And it's and starting to see what you're dealing with and what your experience of reality is that other people aren't experiencing. And like the loneliness of that. Like, oh, that feeling of like looking at the world through a screen thing. That's the autism. That's not like, that's just the way that my brain works. And I think that's why there's so many autistic people who are like suicidal, because they never like learn how to kind of sit with that. And just like everything else, that's why I always say that love is the answer. The best way out is to surround yourself with people who understand the experience that you're having and have compassion for it. But the way that civilization fundamentally works is incompatible with the autistic brain. So, have fun. That's a really hard thing to, but just like what I was saying in the video, you're better off facing it. Like, it's really painful when you, like, kind of start to see that, but, you're better off accepting it. And, you know, I've found out that I was autistic 2021, I guess? And it does get better. Like, I am so much better off in so many ways knowing, but it does mean accepting a lot of things are permanent that you thought were temporary. Permanent-ish. I say permanent-ish because you just kind of start targeting different goals. You just learn that what's workable and what isn't. And what you don't want to be. That's like the things that aren't workable, you kind of learn to not want them to be workable anymore. Like the sensitivity thing is the biggest example of that for me. I used to be like, I would do anything to stop being so sensitive. I would do anything to stop being so sensitive. It is so painful to feel all this pain. And now you could not pay me to take my sensitivity away. Because now I know sensitivity is life itself. Sensitivity is a superpower. Sensitivity, you're collecting more data from the world around you and from your own body. That's a beautiful gift. When people say people are too sensitive, what they really mean, and this is the thing that is worth working on, is reactivity. I wasn't too sensitive. I was too reactive. That was the problem. Learning to carry the experience without forcing other people to help you carry it against their will. That is a task worth. But that's a different journey, you see. Before I was trying to be less sensitive. Now I'm trying to learn how to carry all the big feelings to different goals. Avoid going out. I love going out, but then I overdo it. That is relatable shit. You gotta respect anyone who bleeds once a month and is still standing. Ha ha! Reminds me of Usopp when he had to fight ghosts that made people depressed, and then he said that he's not affected because he's depressed. Yeah! Similar sort of thing. The irony is that we wouldn't have evolved if it wasn't for the different thinkers and creative minds. Yes! And that's one of the things that when I was trying to save the world and had that whole thing, I was like trying to make the argument of why allistic, you know, in the same way that like men are affected by patriarchy too, it's not just women, you know, allistics also lose out by not incorporating autistic divergent thinking. Like, they're missing out on what autistics could offer. Like, our brains are doing a lot of work that their brains don't want to do. Like, the joke that I always come back to is, without autistic people, who will update the wikis? Allistics want to have wikis. They want that to exist. And they want trains to run on time. Like, let us do our weird shit. Like, that was one of the things that I looked back when I was recontextualizing my life as an autistic person. I was like, all those times that I wanted to do the work that nobody else wanted to do. That's why. Why I'm a video editor. Why I love editing video so much. Like, when I was doing the Hollywood thing, so many people were like, oh, that's so tedious. That's so boring, sitting and doing the editing part. I was like, awesome. I loved hearing when people said they hated editing. I was like, that's job security for me. Because I love it. I love it. There's so many things that, like, are so boring and tedious to holistic people. And that's, like, all we really, you know, need. It's just for holistic people to go, like, yes, let us do the weird autistic shit so you don't have to. Don't you take some comfort in knowing that there's autistic people that, like, know everything about bugs, so somebody knows everything about bugs, so you don't have to study everything about bugs. Clippy. Yeah, Clippy is I'm noticing, is that a common avatar? Is that like an inside joke? Or has this just always been you, the Clip? I could have sworn I've seen multiple screen names with Clippies. Love is still the more powerful force on the planet. Love as in care we have for each other due to the human experience. Love is, the only natural resource that you get more if you give more. Because love is an open door. And just like how a hole is the only thing that you can put in a barrel to make it lighter, that's why it breaks the rules of physics, because it is an opening. Just had a drop off at Enclave. It's a nightclub. Ha! That's cool. Figured I'd stop in while I eat my little Debbie. Nice. We're getting super esoteric because that's what we do around here. We're getting super philosophical. Wikis are to appropriate the Eel song title, Wonderful, Glorious. That's right. If I can find a way to make money doing what I can, I'm good at, then I wouldn't even need to apply to disability. Right. And, I make YouTube videos about a Fallout franchise, and then I teamed up with a prop maker. And I do all the boring autistic shit that he doesn't want to do. And that's how I'm functioning. And I also edit porn, so then there's that. I'm still, like, shaky, but basically it's all about time blocking for me now. It's like time blocking. I know what I'm doing, but I need to, like, really isolate on this day I do this, on this day I do that. And then I'll have it together. And I am completely surrounded by people who love me and won't let anything happen to me, which is incredible. Especially after, like, the abuse situation, where I was just, like, so convinced how unlovable I was. And that I had to, like, tolerate how this person treated me, because nobody else would. That is such a good, like, flag to be like, how do you know if you're, like, in a toxic, abusive situation? Ask this very, very specific question. It is, do you feel like this, like, do you feel like you appreciate this relationship because of how much, like, warmth, love, and support and care they bring into your life? Or do you feel grateful that this person has always been there to put up with a piece of shit like you? Do you feel like, thank God this person has always been there. I'm so grateful this person has always been there, because I have fucked up everything else in my life, and I'm so grateful that this person still loves me despite of all the horrible shit that I've done. If it is the second category, oh my God, reddest of the red flags. Because what might be happening is they are fucking with your nervous system so that you sabotage all your other relationships and become dependent on them. And some people operate this way completely unconsciously. They don't even know that they're doing it to you. And I think that's another thing about the impact over intent thing, is that one of the reasons I stuck with this person so long is because I was just like, if they don't know that they're doing this, or they don't know they're treating people shitty, then I feel bad for them. It does not matter if they know that they're doing it or not. It matters that they're doing it. And the pattern was so fucking consistent. And it was like maddening. I'd be like, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I felt like I didn't have the right, that I was cheating. Like I felt like they had to let me go. Or I couldn't leave until they let me go. Until they admitted what they were doing, and they saw it. And then I would be, like, released. It was the weirdest thing. It's fucking really, it's just bizarre. And hopefully one day I'll, like, stop talking about this. But it's such a weird thing to see that you could be driven crazy by somebody. Like, I was, like, so unstable. You guys, I was so on top of my taxes. I was so on top of everything. 3 years I haven't done my taxes. Because this person swirled my fucking brain. I speak to you in riddles because my words get in the way. Anti-gender AI movement. That's a very broad explanation. There's more to it than that. What song is that? Love is an Open Door? Oh, that's a Disney. What is your favorite dinosaur? The imaginary velociraptors from Jurassic Park. I'd heard recently that T-Rexes ran around with their tippy toes. Please stop describing my current relationship. Oof. Oof. Big of you to see it, though. Good luck. I am a Styracosaurus. So T-Rex is Naruto running in the jungle is a weird thought that tickles my pickle. Tickles my pickle? Okay. I got to the end of chat, so I should probably end this because it is now 9:15, and I want to record something tonight before I go to bed. Because tomorrow I'm going to have to get up and do work, and I don't want to. My favorite dinosaur are the that's the thing I can't pronounce. That's the thing I can't pronounce. But this has been so much fun. Oh yeah, and also I want to let you guys know, so this is an off week for me, so I shouldn't do a video. Hopefully I'll just be like recording footage and like preparing for the next video. And I want to start doing stand-up again. That's sort of a bucket list thing. And now that I'm going to be 40, I have to do things like singing and stand-up because I'm going to be shitty at first. And the only way to get good at something is to be shitty. So I need to go be shitty at stand-up. But my housemate's bar, where they do stand-up, is Saturdays at 10. So that basically means that I would stream until 9, and then I need, like, from, like, 5:30 to 9. Maybe 5. Maybe I might, like, start at 5 instead of 5:30. Like, just, like, feed Peg a little earlier. I don't know, I haven't decided. And then yeet out of here at 9, catch the bus, make it to the sign-up. And that will be my Saturday. I thought at first, like, I'm like, do I really want to do that one right after the other? But here's my thinking. A theory that I'm kind of testing. I think if I'm, like, talking to you guys for a while, and then I, like, yeet out and go straight there, then I won't be able to talk myself out of it. Like, if I'm, like, doing nothing for, like, the hours leading up to it, then I might, like, overthink it and, like, make excuses not to go, and then be like, I'm tired. But if I, like, plan, like, sort of launch from the chair and get out of here, then I won't have time to stop myself. And I might need that. Bar! Hey, you bar! I'm actually, kind of, it's gonna be weird, hanging out at a bar now that I don't drink alcohol anymore. And I think I'm, like, done. I think I'm, like, never gonna drink alcohol again. I think I'm not about that life anymore. I, do not miss it. I should really reach out to my rehab counselor and be like, hey, guess what? I don't think I'm ever gonna drink again. I don't want to. It's weird. I've been single most of my life, mainly long distance relationships prior, due to suffering. Oh, I'm so sorry. Um, I I don't regret ending my drinking days. Yeah. I think I'm just over it. And I'm working with my doctor to get weed back. I think I want weed back, but I think I'm done with alcohol. I think alcohol numbed me, and I just want to be sensitive now. I just want to feel everything, because I associate it with being alive. And now that I don't have a bunch of abusive relationships, feeling stuff isn't so bad. It's not so bad. I'm in so much less pain than I was for most of my life. Okay, I keep doing this forever, but I gotta quit. Um, all right. I am leaving. You guys were awesome. Hopefully, I will see you next Saturday. And in anything interesting happens, I will tell you in post. Like if I end up making a Discord or anything like that. And until next time, stay cool, Ferals. I still feel like this always feels so sudden when I quit, but here we are. Stay cool, Ferals. Bye.